Good morning, beautiful people. It is Friday, May 29th, and obviously in our country there are some incredibly sad things happening that all spurred from a criminal act by a police officer that we could have never, ever expected to happen, but it seems as if it does happen way too often. So what I want to let you know is I was up all night last night, like I'm sure everybody else was, watching what was going on in the beautiful city of Minneapolis, Minnesota! And we want to let you know that this particular show is a place where we are going to try to be a distraction for the next 2 hours because we are nowhere near smart enough to be giving people how they should feel or how they should act and things of that nature. So we're going to try to be a distraction. Dance, monkey, dance, they'll say to us, and we'll say 10-4. And we are a country that'll figure this out. I honestly believe that is the case. And now it's time to talk about all the things that are happening in the sports world, because the sports world, by the way, is starting to really pop off. I mean, we had a lot of time without live sports, and now it feels as if there's roadmaps to recovery. It feels like there's bounce back governors saying, hey, our state can open up for professional sports. Texas comes in and says, hey, you can use outdoor stadiums if you want, fill them up to 25% capacity. That starts June 1st. And if that goes well, guess what, son of a bitch? We'll open that son of a bitch up even more. Texas has been the ones, and Georgia and Florida, who have been the ones that have been like, hey, listen, I don't know what they got going on everywhere else, but we're going to do this. We will be the guinea pigs. We are okay with that. And I want to let you know, I have no idea what the numbers are saying. I have no idea what the analytics are saying. But the fact that Texas is opening up stadiums, that leads me to believe, like, okay, if that goes well, what's that mean? That means other stadiums are going to open up, which means what? Then now we're talking about getting people into arenas, getting people into stadiums, getting the NBA tournament that's going to be down in Disney back, getting the NHL tournament that's going to be in two hub cities. Hub cities shouldn't. That was supposed to be points, but it sure looked like. Yeah. See, by the way, not a big deal if that's what you're into.
Nope.
But it was just, I was trying, that kind of could have been distraction for the thought that two hub cities are going to host the NHL's potential bracket tournament with 24 teams, which is inevitably going to end with the Pittsburgh Penguins taking home the COVID Cup, Lord Stanley, and that thing will be paraded around town once the town is opened back up. The AFL, Aussie Rules Football, comes back June 11th, 5:40 in the morning. It starts Fox Sports 1. If you've never seen an Aussie Rules football game, like I hadn't before this quarantine thing started, buckle up. It is majestic. There's soccer back in Germany. There's soccer back in England. There's soccer back in
Denmark.
There's soccer back in. Okay, that was it. All right. I didn't know how many more we had. Baseball's back in Korea. We are on a path to getting our live sports back, which are a massive part of obviously our lives, and I'd assume those who are watching. Speaking of our lives, joining us at Nick Moraldo, rocking his NASA shirt, which seems to be an answer to a lot of the people in here saying that the NASA SpaceX launch was a big old dud. Nick and I were the only ones standing up for American ingenuity Elon Musk actually isn't from America.
But he has their best interests at heart.
Yeah, and first time Americans have been launched into space from America. We were all jacked up about it. Obviously, the whole office was. Then 5 hours happened, and they inevitably didn't take off, which a lot of people said if you looked at the Doppler 5 hours beforehand, you would have known that. But hey, they're not rocket scientists, literally the people that said that. So that thing's supposed to take off tomorrow. But boy, the room had turned on the operation, and oddly enough, me and Nick were the only ones going to bat for the spacemen, and I want to let you know, Nick, I appreciated that out of you.
Yeah, you know, Pat, you and I, unlike the simple-minded folk in the rest of the room here,
Ty mostly.
We appreciate.
Diggs is another one.
I just pray for the astronaut safety.
We appreciate the efforts of these people putting their lives on the line.
Astronaut safety.
That is not what you were praying for the other day.
I pray for the astronaut safety. That's my one and only concern during this whole thing.
No, your official statement.
And if there's going to be a storm and it jeopardizes their safety, I don't want them to launch.
That is not what you were saying. That is not your take at all. That is a lie.
No, I just pray for their safety and for the safety of their families, and may they get to the space station safely and conduct their experiments and come back safely and rejoin their families.
That is what a human. You look like Orlovsky right now. You look like Orlovsky on the internet right now. You saw him yesterday hit that back pedal. He was a quarterback, not a corner. You didn't know if he had a good back pedal. He did, which by the way I think was the right move because Damian Lillard was getting a shuffle. He was getting a shovel. He was going, how's it going, Dan?
I'm burying you.
Dan, what was? Oh, well, that was happening to Dan yesterday, Damian Lillard. And to Dan's credit, he said, probably shouldn't have said what I said. And I don't think you hear that much from people that are takers. Like, hey, you know what? I was completely wrong there. So good for Dan. But boy, whenever I poked my head on Twitter and I saw that popping off, and I was like, Danny boy, Dan, not a good place to be where you're at. Probably should take those words back. Stat, pal. If I was Orlovsky, I would wear a shirt on ESPN that said, I apologize for my words, Mr. Lillard. And then I would wear a sport coat over top of that. That's what I would do if I was Dan. That's how because I would assume Dan did not mean to personally offend anybody. He was just trying to make his point across. But it did seem like he was taking a direct shot at Damian Lillard. But anyways, that's what you were doing to NASA just yesterday.
Pray for the cool glasses, by the way.
Thank you.
I just pray for the safety of the.
Listen, it's not.
Have you ever seen these deflection tactics? Not only
it's unbelievable.
My glasses, by the way, are very cool. Maybe what's that? Whenever it gets in the way, distracting. You get it. My cool glasses could be very distracting. I understand that, but the way you're backpedaling off of your initial statements about this whole thing is embarrassing.
Those glasses also help you see through the BS he's trying to throw out there. Right?
2020, pal.
BS alert.
20.
BS alert.
Was I disappointed that I didn't get to see history made the other day? Sure, but I just pray for the safety of the astronauts.
Here's another negative, Nance, about NASA. Ty Schmidt.
No, listen, my qualms are with SpaceX, not with NASA. I love the boys over at NASA.
I'm in on that
SpaceX,
angle.
I mean, clearly running a Mickey Mouse operation the other day.
Elon Musk, you're saying?
Yeah, and his interview wasn't great. I was really excited for that and kind of just, didn't tell us anything new. I'm pro NASA, always have been, always will be. Love the astronauts. Just SpaceX. I wasn't impressed.
It's a very different story than what you two were telling just less than 12 hours ago. Jason McAfee's here, drove himself to work today. Shout out Jay. Viva Lazito's here. Viva Lazito's here, rocking a Shotgang hoodie. The Shotgang had their first ever successful night on the internet last night. Congrats to them. At Evan Foxy's here, rocking his spring collection, which is currently 20% off because the Shotgang finally got a win. Hashtag Shotgang.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hashtag SHAHKGANG. 20% off everything at store.pmxshow.com because you guys, for the first time in a month and a half of existing, had a successful night on the internet.
Woohoo! It's almost like Shock Week has come to life.
Shock.
For those that don't know, Shotgang is this crew of misfits and derelicts who play on GTA in a group together, because I guess GTA now has a server where you can all hang out. It's like Sims almost. It's like Fortnite where you can kind of hang out, build your character, you can buy things and own things. You guys have been doing just, very, very ratchet stuff on there together as a group, whether it's killing aliens, robbing people, robbing banks, and then you just turn off the console and go sleep perfectly fine at night. And you had been doing that all in a failures mentality, right, for this entire time. And last night was the first time you guys ever successfully did anything and accomplished anything. Is that accurate?
We finally swam together. Let's just say that. Us Shocks finally swam together.
And you're saying people can join the Shotgang?
Oh, yeah. We actually filled our whole entire first Shotgang. We have a second Shotgang coming around.
Look at this.
Chapter. You got a chapter up north.
Me and Foxy are not in with the Shotgang.
No.
Yeah, it's a half-ass attempt to spend time on their gaming consoles.
Yes,
this is just a hustle by the boys to try to explain not only to us but also to their significant others.
Right.
Like, oh, have to do this.
Yeah.
Have to do this because
Good gimmick.
this is business, you know.
Gotta work.
And
Gotta
I don't like that I am being used as a pawn in this whole thing, so you guys can play video games all night.
You're not too far off. I'll give you that. You damn near hit the nail right on the head.
No, believe me, I watched. I've been watching, but you guys are entertaining on there, and your
hats off.
and your failures are beautiful. And there's been a lot of those. Every single night has happened, and most of them have been. Last night I saw. The biggest failure was you guys almost successfully won, and at Boston Connor couldn't parachute to the boat. Is that accurate at Boston Connor?
Well, here's the thing. I could parachute to the boat, but the problem was that when I got close to the boat, I hit the cliff that was sitting right behind it that I didn't see.
What are you talking? What is going on back there? I don't think anybody cares about the Shotgang anymore. You are speaking into a bass drum, then into a microphone, so it sounds pretty interesting. What's going on back there?
Just, drummer today. Also, NASA. Love it.
You were also with Diggs and Ty bashing on NASA just yesterday.
No.
Yeah, very loudly. But
just
so you're a drummer
information.
because you lifted up an entire drum set and put it in front of you?
Well, I got drumsticks too, but I have drumsticks as well. But yeah.
You have drumstick, it looks like.
No. Right here.
But you can't use it because you got to hold the drum set up.
No. I can use it.
Can you play?
Yeah, I can play. Just check it out. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you,
Happy
too.
Friday.
Happy Friday to you. All right, let's get to some sports. How does that happen during a show?
Absolutely no rhythm whatsoever.
None.
Excuse me.
Negative rhythm on him. And how does that sneak into a live show?
Jazz drum set, okay?
Best show on the internet.
This is a show on the internet. That's exactly what it is. He's going to try to buy a
Bengal cat. I'm just thinking about it.
Kilo.
Kilo, you want to name it?
No, that's what its name is already.
Oh, okay. So you get a cocaine big jungle cat in the house. It's awesome.
Well, I mean,
Don't worry about it. You're making real good decisions. You're a drummer now,
Thank
though.
you.
Rockstar. Hey, Damian Priest.
hell yeah! Rocco, hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
Got a boy. All right. Intern Emmett is here as well. By the way, it is a Friday here. He's getting ready to get going for the weekend. We appreciate you coming. Great shirt on Mitt today and his shoe game. Fantastic today. I don't know if you can see. Lift those up, Mitt, please.
Oh, that's where my shaker
What
is.
are those?
Obama shoes look good.
Bronze.
Yeah, that's very nice. Okay, let's get to it. The NFL Rules Committee met yesterday on a Zoom call or a Microsoft Teams call that they have to say they're on because Microsoft is a big sponsor, but it was probably a Zoom call if I had to guess, because I think more people understand how to work the Zoom as opposed to Microsoft Teams. In the Microsoft Teams commercial, the guy sounds like a robot. The opening guy, have you seen the Microsoft Teams commercial?
I don't think so.
It's a man, I don't know where he's from. It's either maybe Germany or England. He has an accent of some sort, but he has a voice like a robot. So it automatically, as soon as I listen, it makes me feel like, oh, your voice gets distorted on the Microsoft Teams. It's like, I assume that guy's a very successful man somewhere, but the commercial for Microsoft Teams wasn't great, and Zoom kind of took off. So I'd assume that the NFL Rules Committee met on a Zoom, and there was a lot of things up for grabs. And in the past meetings for this, they moved the extra point from a 20-yard extra point to a 33-yard extra point, but it was always being sampled in the preseason first, and then they decide maybe to carry it over. This is where things get done in these meetings. This is where the future of the game could potentially lie. This is where the pass interference review got put into place because the Saints got screwed by a ref that lives in Los Angeles, allegedly, and the LA Rams tackled their wide receiver on the 5-yard line, and there was no pass interference called. The entire city of New Orleans and also a lot of NFL fans were like, how do they miss this, and how can we review everything else but this? And then they put it in. That's what this meeting is. So this meeting makes real change to the NFL into the game. This year, there was a 4th and 15 concept that was being talked about to replace an onside kick at the end of the game because the onside kick success percentages were in the dumpster. 0 for 104. That's less than 0%. That is less than 0%. I don't know how, but it is. And it's unbelievable that we have gotten to this point. And the way we've gotten here is with the health of the game. Okay, and the kickoff is a play where you got humans who are trying to feed their family sprinting towards one area, and then you have humans that are trying to feed their family protecting said person with the ball. And there's used to be 50 yards of run up to each other here. A lot of football guys, super football guys, say the kickoff is their favorite play in football because it epitomizes everything that is football. You're trying to gain territory. You got massive collisions. You got some strategy. But at the end of the day, it's, hey, us and you, Braveheart war, sprint at each other. Like, that is the meatheads of football. Love it. Then Dr. Will Smith came out with an incredible movie that opened a lot of people's eyes, and then science started coming out about CTE, and then stories started coming out about ex-players and how the end of their lives are happening, and the NFL very much understood that they had to look out for these players. So the kickoff was one of the things where the stats were showing, hey, a lot of potential brain injuries are happening on this one play. We got to change it. So they changed it from the 30 to the 35, hoping for more touchbacks. Then they changed, even with the touchbacks, there were still guys running with their 5-yard run up and still blasting each other because that's really the only time they get a chance to make big hits. And there's guys in the league that like hitting people. Like, that is things that happen. So then they move it up to no run up. Then they had to change it even more. They got 8 guys within 30 yards of the kickoff line or whatever. Everybody has their hands team. So it became a punt play, basically. And with doing so, with no run up, no overload, 6 on one side, 4 on the other, none of that, you basically eliminated the opportunity for an onside kick to be successful. Now, granted, you can get lucky and hit a ball off of somebody or try to hit it off somebody and have it bounce back. And you can maybe have a guy fumble a ball if it is a one hop or if it's a low dribbler, but the success rate is so low, literally 0 for 104. So now teams, I forget the percentage, sure done the math. I think it's like 70 or 75% of NFL games are one-score games. Like that, the parity of NFL games are next level. You look at when the year we were 2-14, there was 8 games that we could have won that were one-score games that were like the 8. That's 10-6 to 2-14. Like, that's what the NFL is. Even though teams are great and some teams are much, much better than other teams, it always seems as if NFL games have a lot of parity, and it feels like the great teams figure out ways to win those close games and the bad teams don't. For instance, Detroit Lions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buccaneers too. They lost 7 games by 1 score.
Exactly. That's just how it goes. So if you're looking at the game and looking at the league, you're like, okay, if it's all one-score games, and we could potentially even carry this into overtime or get more stuff, we need the onside kick to be something. And that's why the onside kick is so and has been so important, because it's another possession. It's just like a turnover. It's just like an interception. It's just like a fumble. That's why when we were operating and using surprise onside kicks, it was because we're getting another possession. We're stealing a possession from the other team that, you're only getting a few of those a game anyways. You got to take advantage of. So they changed all this. It made it impossible to happen. And now they're like, hey, listen, we got to give the team that's down, because they're probably still in it at the end, for their fans, for the gamblers, for the teams, for this league. We got to give them a better chance. 4th and 15 idea was floated out there, which then puts a lot of responsibility on the refs not to mess it up, which they normally do. You call a pass interference, bang, we could potentially be extending the game or giving a team a loss that basically shouldn't have lost if it's a wrong pass interference, hands to the face, roughing the passer. There's a lot of thoughts that the refs could then control an onside kick situation with the 4th and 15. And anybody who has eyes, hey, cool glasses, anybody that has eyes knows that the refs sometimes blow it. I mean, that is just sometimes, and it's not their fault. Players are moving faster than they've ever moved before. There's split-second decisions they got to make. And us as fans, probably in the past, wouldn't have known they made these mistakes until the technology is so good that we see literally every single pimple and maybe body fat that you have after Thanksgiving on the camera, which is something I always feared. Need a looser camera or looser jersey for December, please. What's that for? Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas is around. Let's go ahead and look out for your guy, because we wear all white anyways. Let's get a little bit bigger. But the technology has shown that, these guys are making mistakes. I think it was right not to pass the 4th and 15 at the current moment. But if we get the pass interference review fixed, and we get maybe review system fixed, which they did talk about, which was a sky judge operation, but they didn't want to describe it as such. And I had said that in the XFL, as soon as they did their review, as soon as Dean Blandino, Oliver Luck, and Vince McMahon in the XFL did the reviews, the NFL should have been like, boom, that's what we're doing. Everybody likes that. It feels like it's right. Let's keep it moving. They did not do that, but they will test out something, but not really testing out anything. They're making it appear as if they're trying to fix the review, but not really much is changing. They need to just adopt the XFL style. The NFL's a little bit slow with things. Expect that to come in next year. Also expect the 4th and 15 to come in next year if that comes in a proper fashion. There's a couple other changes they made. Designated return from IR goes from 2 players to 3 players. This is a big deal. Whenever they made the designated to return IR just a few years ago, it was beautiful because you get a star player hurt in week 1 and maybe he's able to recover 10 weeks. Okay, we still got half a season left at this point. We paid him a lot of money. He's a big part of our team. An unfortunate happening in the first game. Now he's out for the year. They made the designated to return. You think it has to be 10 weeks?
I think like J.J. Watt last year was on that, right?
Yeah, I don't know how many weeks it is.
I think
6
it's
or 8 weeks or whatever it is. That was a good decision. They bumped it. They have it at 2. They bump it up to 3. This is good, especially with the modern technology that we have, the modern rehabbing we have, the information we have. Guys come back from injuries a lot faster than they used to. Let's get them back in the. Let's get them back in the game. Stars playing the football is good for the football league. That is just 8 weeks you have to wait. Defenseless player protection has been expanded on kick returns and punt returns. Once again, this is because of the study that I mentioned 7 minutes ago, probably, about the kickoff and return special teams being very dangerous because it's a lot of run up. And there is prevent of manipulation of game clock with multiple dead ball fouls. So when the clock is running above 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, okay, because I think it stops anytime. You get it. When the clock is rolling and you have a lead, let's say you have to punt. It's 4th and 5. You're on the other team's 38. This was something we had in literally every single week if we ever got there. If you're at 4th and 5 at the 38 and you're going out to punt and the clock is rolling, you let that play clock get all the way down, and then you just have your right tackle jump offsides. Okay, so they throw the flag, offsides, punting team. Boom, 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 5-yard penalty, replay 4th down or whatever, still 4th down. So then they start to clock again. Okay, so now we're only at the 43. This is a very short punt still at this point. You know what? Run it back. So let that play clock go all the way down. Oh, this time our PP goes and punches our center. Okay, that's a penalty. 5 yards, false start, knock the center down. Okay, back it up. Now it's at the 48. Still can do it again, and we just ran 25, 25, 25 off the clock. It's just one of those things where every team had it in, and the only person that really ever was able to pull it off, Bill Belichick.
Yep, and then it happened against him too. Vrabel did it against him in the playoffs this year.
Which is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And Vrabel, I would assume, still tells that story to people. How about when we got Bill with the with the offsides on the punt? Like, that is something that you do because that's a Bill Belichick move. But we had that in. We just never got to the situation where it was. They changed that. Just like the Patriots took advantage of the had reported eligible rule back in the day, and they had a bunch of different formations, and defensive coordinators were like, "Hey, come on, okay, we already got to prepare for Tom. We already got to prepare for all this." Now they're using wild formations, declaring people eligible. What do we have? We have 15 seconds to figure this out. They got a center at wide receiver over there. They got this whole thing, and Bill Belichick's just sitting there with Ernie on his dry erase board. Good luck figuring that out. And that is why, by the way, and they're not the only team that does that. Every team is trying to utilize the rules to get an advantage. You have no idea how competitive the NFL is and how everybody's trying to find loopholes in everything. It just so happens that it feels like every single time that gets figured out, the loophole gets found, it's the Patriots. And that is why it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback for them. They're still going to win games because Bill Belichick and Ernie got that dry erase board. Yep. And like you see, Clause 4 here of this rule doesn't state that we can't have 7 quarterbacks on it, right? We can have a quarterback at center, maybe do the side snap thing like the rugby people, and then you have Jared Stidham throw it over here to Hoyer, and then Hoyer will throw it to our center that's eligible. Like that is something that you can do, and they will do, and that's the mindset of a guy that's good. The NFL Rules Committee also had permanent expansion of automatic replay reviews to include scoring plays, even whenever it is negated by a foul. So let's say Anthony DeGilio is at running back. Shout out to Diggs. This was back when Diggs had it, too. He might be back there, by the way. We're not 100%
boy,
sure.
Tony.
Indiana Diggs is getting very skinny. So I'm quarterback, and Mitt is offensive lineman. We're on the 3. Yeah, Mitt's on there. You too, man. You're in there, too. Hey, Connor,
I'm just saying,
Connor, you're playing center.
You're going to get sacked if Mitt's guarding your blind side.
It's a run play. I'm not getting sacked. I don't
Okay,
care.
fair
This is
enough.
on Diggs.
Yeah,
But
fair enough.
so I hand the ball off to Diggs. Diggs shakes a guy in the backfield on the other team's 3. Shakes somebody on the 2. Then Mitt here, since he's had to block so long and it was supposed to be a quick play, he gets out of order. He blocks a guy, but then he tackles him. Okay. Diggs gets in though, right past Mitt's ass there after he tackles it. Holding call is called, negates the penalty. The NFL now will review that play because he did get into the touchdown, right? So they're saying they're going to review every single touchdown and turnover, even if it's negated by a foul. So does that mean if that hold wasn't egregious and they review that, is the hold going to get potentially taken back and the touchdown's going to remain? I don't know. I don't know if we read the rule right, but the way we read it back and forth a couple times and try to break it down, that's what it feels like they made happen. Is this good for the league? Is this bad for the league? Is a hold call going to get overturned? And if that happens, people will lose their mind. You will see offensive linemen. You will see defensive linemen. You will see, that'll be a big deal. Like, oh, we're overturning holding calls now? Like, it'll be a big deal.
Why? Yeah, but my thing is, why review the touchdown or turnover if there is a flag on the play that negates the play if you're not going to review the flag? Like, there's no.
Yeah, well,
there's no point
and
to
is
even-
that what you're reviewing? Or if there's a
Yeah, I assume they're reviewing the flag, right? Because the touchdown. I mean,
Okay,
unless it's
here
a
we
close.
go.
Yeah, that's
Here we
Pandora's
go.
box.
Aaron Rodgers. Okay, Aaron Rodgers rolls right there in the red zone, probably 15-yard line. Devontae Adams runs like a post corner. Aaron throws it up to the corner. Devontae, Kyle Rudolph's, pushes guy, catches it 2 feet in. Pass interference offense, touchdown, overturned because of the pass interference. Are they reviewing that? And now is pass interference potentially a reviewable play that could be overturned?
I don't know.
Because this is a very interesting situation now, and we might not be reading it accurately, but it is what it said. The word said, permanent expansion of automatic replay reviews to include scoring plays / turnovers negated by foul. Did we just break that down? Can't wait to see how this unfolds. And they added Walt Anderson to the whole thing. That's really good for football.
Yeah.
25 minutes after the hour, we got to get to a break. Sam Martin, the punter for the Denver Broncos, formerly of the Detroit Lions, joins us. He'll be punting balls for Mitt's dad this upcoming.
nice.
Yeah. I may or may not have been called by Sam Martin to chat about what it's like to work for Mitt's dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Better than working with Mitt.
We got to get to a break. We'll be back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Oh, music. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Friday, May 29th. Joining us now is a man that people call handsome. People say this man is handsome. He went to Appalachian State. Let's go Mountaineers. He was then at the Detroit Lions. Now he's at the Denver Broncos. Punter, kickoff man, ball whacker guy, Sam Martin.
Yes, Sam! Woo! Boys, what's up? How we doing?
Everything's good. Thanks for joining us. Where are you at right now in the world? Is it early morning West Coast? You East Coast? What's going on with your life?
I'm East Coast. I'm down in West Palm Beach, Florida. Recently moved down here. I think last time we talked, I was out in California.
West Palm Beach. Did you see the Epstein documentary?
That's Jupiter. It's actually about a couple miles from my house.
Oh, no.
I don't exactly know where it is, though. No. I know the general area.
Yeah, stay inside. Stay inside over there. Sam, why did you end up going to the Denver Broncos? You were obviously a great ball whacker guy for the Detroit Lions. When I saw you come out of college, I was happy for you because I thought you were incredibly talented. You're athletic. You look like a soccer guy to me because you're able to kick and punt. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a guy that's good. You go to Detroit, I think you get injured at Detroit. You find your swing again. You were great. Then you enter free agency, and now you're with the Denver Broncos. Aside from being able to punt it mile high every other week, what was the reasoning for why you went to Denver, and did you ever have thoughts to go back to Detroit or an offer to go back to Detroit? Oh boy.
Yeah, so I did have an offer to go back to Detroit, and you know, I was definitely interested in going back to Detroit, but Denver had been, it's, as a punter, it's a real appealing place to go, right? And then so once we started talking with them, it became a reality that I could end up there. We spoke a little bit about Coach McMahon and philosophy and style of punting, and combined with that, and then all the praise that I used to get from Prater on Denver on a weekly basis about how much he loved the city and then Colorado in general, it became the place where I really wanted to land. And Detroit was definitely still on the table, but Denver was a little more appealing, and the contract was as well. So that's kind of how it played out.
Good for you. The Broncos got a good team building too. I think that Drew Lock guy could be a real good quarter. Do you think I would have thought about that in free agency? Like, okay, who's the quarterback? Now, granted, you're good friends with Matt Stafford. We all love Matt Stafford. This is nowhere near a conversation about how talented Matthew Stafford is, because one of his good friends is Matt Stafford. But when you look at the Broncos, or you're looking at to go to another team as a ball kicker, right? And who knows how many years you got left? Do you look at the offensive production and go like, okay, that's a team that could potentially get there, and Drew Lock seems like a guy that might be able to have it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's pretty understood that it's a team on the rise. The defense has always been stout, good defense back there. I think the most expensive defense in the league, actually. And then, you got the offense coming together. You got Drew Lock, who was coming up, and then the draft this year, which is post me signing. But I mean, the offense is looking scary.
The thought of a great defense, too, for a punter is so nice, because you pin them, they'll go get them, because there's nothing worse than pinning a team deep and then first play, 25-yard chunk. It's like, well, what am I even here for? What are we even doing, team?
I just blast to the end zone next time.
Yeah.
Dude, I think that all the time.
I'll take the snap and just take a knee right here, and then we'll just expedite this entire process. If we're not going to try to start playing defense until our own 40, I'm just going to run it every time and see if I can pick up a first down. That has to be something that's appealing, let alone the mile high thing. And Tom McMahon, the special teams coach at Denver, he is going to ask you to be a very boring punter. And it's so effective whenever you get in there and get going, but he's going to make your ass work.
Yeah, I'm stoked about it. Obviously we've started our meetings and everything, and I've got a whole new bag of stuff I'm working on. But it's going to be an exciting new scheme. I've been watching so much Pat McAfee tape, dude. I almost wore a sleeveless hoodie and some shorts on the show today. I'm starting to feel like you.
Rigoberto's.
But no, it's been good. Yeah, Rigo, you guys. I mean, that whole scheme that started with you there. I mean, it's pretty sweet. It looks effective, and I'm pretty stoked about it.
Rigoberto Sanchez was the rookie punter that came in and beat out Jeff Locke, who I don't know how they thought that was going to be the answer, but the Rigoberto Sanchez came in, and I met with him a couple times there. Vinatieri wanted me to talk to him about holding, and then a couple of the punting things. I had a chat with him, and I liked how hard he worked. And then I got a message from him like 3 weeks later that was like, Hey, man, I'm a big fan, but I am tired of watching your film. I just want to let you know that if Tom McMahon is forcing me to watch your film right now. So I apologize for there's going to be a lot of me in your life, I think, and I hope at some point that'll pass. But when Tom and I were working together, it was a great time. Let's move forward. You're getting older in the league. You're becoming an old man now at this point. You're in another contract. Have you changed your training? Have you changed the way you keep your body together so you can continue to slaughter footballs, especially in Denver?
Yeah, absolutely. So funny you asked. So I got a hernia about like a third through the season last year. So I played most of the season with a hernia. So I started going to this place in Jupiter, Florida. That's a big golf training facility. It trains Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, a lot of top guys there. And it's all core related type explosive stuff. Yeah. So I've been working with those guys down there, and it's a lot less stress on my body, a lot more rotational resistance type stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, and it's great. It's loving it. I think I see 2 abs now, which is a first in a while. That's big time. Round of applause. There we go.
Hey, we're happy for you there, man. Good for you. Are those?
It's good stuff.
Is DJ and JT and BK and T Dub, are they cool people, or have you met any of them?
So I met a few of them. So Justin Thomas is in there a lot, but DJ. My first time I was in there, I had a jammed finger and I had a brace on my finger, and I was after work I was wagging some balls in the simulator in there, and I'm spraying them. I'm like hitting the walls with this brace on my finger, and I hear someone behind me go, "Hey, if you're gonna play with that brace on your finger, open your grip a little bit." And I'm like, "Okay, man." I don't look back. I just go ahead, whack another one, shank another one. He comes up, takes the club from me, starts showing me how to do this, and I look up and I'm like, "Oh shit, that's Dustin Johnson." Okay, Mr. DJ, I got this. Yeah, so. Whatever you say, sir. So that was the icebreaker, and since then I've seen him a few times, and he's an awesome dude. He's super cool, and actually McManus is coming into town next week, and we're trying to set up some golf with him. And I've already warned the crew if it happens, I'm definitely going to be the Tom Brady of the group. Always said, just be prepared for that.
Hey, as long as you hole out from 150, it don't matter. As long as you have the best shot of the day, it does.
Minus that. I'll be the Brady pre the hole out.
McManus has a ridiculous mustache right now. He sent me a picture last night because he came on our show last week and I attacked him because he has such a good mustache and he had it looked terrible. He had this terrible beard on his face, and I was like, come on. And he sent me a picture last night. That thing is in full bloom. You guys might win on the course strictly from the distraction of his upper lip decoration.
Yeah, it's aggressive. He's always had a great stash, man. I grew a nice one out during quarantine, but if that's the look he's going to rock all season, I might have to bring it back myself.
Yeah, blondes, we don't do good. I mean, it looks like I have pubic hair right on my face. You know what I mean? I can't do it.
Stringy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's funny, Sam. All right. Sam, we have to get to a break. I can't thank you enough for joining us, brother. What have you been doing? Have you just been working out and just hanging out in Florida? That's all you've been doing? Just working out and hanging out? That's the whole quarantine?
Working out and hanging out, golfing when I can, man. Trying to break 100.
You're above 100 still as a golf?
No, that was an exaggeration. I'm just being humble. I'm about an 85, 90 guy.
Woo!
Damn, Sammy boy.
Okay, and you're getting personal lessons from Dustin Johnson. I mean, you're gonna be low 80s in no time.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, dude, the match 3 coming right up. Me and McMahon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, ball kicker for the Denver Broncos, Sam Martin. Thank you, Sam.
Sam!
Thanks, buddy. See you, boys.
Attaboy, Sam.
Sammy!
Good guy.
I like Sam.
Sam's a good guy.
Gonna miss him in Detroit.
What happened, Foxy?
Yeah, what happened? Why didn't you guys get him to come back? What's the deal?
Hey, great question. I'm not sure, but I'm sure last year when he was sitting there thinking we're going to have a good season and Matthew Stafford goes down with a broken freaking back, he says, wow, I'm going to be punting a lot of balls this year.
I think that happened to me. So the Peyton Manning season where his neck got injured or whatever, nobody knew about that. So we didn't know about that. So then I go into training camp and I get summoned to a room in the training room. I get like a text. And he goes, hey, it might have been Pal. I don't know what it was. Come down in the training room. Me and Aaron are down here, right? So I get a text from the sheriff or whatever. And I go down there and I turn the corner. And I look in the room and he's got wires coming out of his neck, basically. And Aaron, our lead physical therapist, is like, he's got gloves on. He's doing like a stem treatment where, it radiates through he puts his hand on one thing and then it radiates through his body and he's got rubber gloves and it's like an electric massage, right? So that's what he's doing. And I'm like, whoa. what is going on here, And that was when I was kind of introduced to the fact that I was potentially going to break the amount of punts in a season record because I actually said, probably, could you guys give me a heads up maybe a month ago, maybe a week ago, I would have trained a little bit more because I thought we were potentially just going to run this thing back with old Peyton Manning at quarterback. And then we signed Kerry Collins. Kerry Collins dies in that first week in Houston, gets a concussion. Then you bring in Curtis Painter. Then he gets hurt. Then you bring in Josh Johnson. No.
Josh Freeman?
Josh Freeman. Bring in Josh Freeman. Then you bring in another guy named Ryan something else. And I was almost quarterback one game for that thing. I mean, that's how that year just unraveled. That is how that year unraveled.
I would assume Sam Martin's hernia maybe had something to do with that.
Freeman, by the way, was after that. We brought in Kerry Collins, Curtis Painter, and this other guy, Ryan something. Josh Freeman was with the Andrew Luck hurt year. It was... I mean, there were some situations when you see your quarterback go
Ryan
Lindley.
Yeah. When you see your quarterback go down, you just go, okay. And Orlovsky came in that year. That was where I met Orlovsky. And I'll tell you what, he won us 2 games. He was a part of that 0-16 season with the Lions, and then he was potentially going to be the only person that was a part of the Lions team and the potential 0-16 Colts team. Only 2 times in history, Orlovsky. But he comes in, wins us games at the end of the season, almost... I would assume in some people's eyes that were higher up that were trying to lose games so we can get Andrew Luck because they didn't know if Peyton Manning was going to be able to hold a football ever again with the nerve thing that he had going on. He comes in, almost wins like 3-4 games at the end of the season, and I would assume there were some people who were like, get that guy the hell off the field. Is McAfee taking snaps? Put his ass out there. We do not need to win. But he wins 2. He inevitably gets cut. We bring in Andrew Luck. Peyton Manning gets cut. He goes to Denver, a whole new ball game. But when you see your guy go down and you're like, okay, so we're going to be punting a lot. All right. And then you kind of scan. That's like a training camp. You're watching the offense. Like seeing how things are going. And the first week for offense is always terrible at training camp. Defense just dominates because it's see ball, get ball. But it's always this. I didn't realize that until probably like year 4 or 5. Every single year, the first week, I'd just be like, oh my God, we're going to punt we're punting every single time. Hey, I need to go hit a treadmill. This is going to be a long season. And then the offense gets going like, okay, we're good. But there was a couple years there where the offense was not clicking. And Andrew Luck was not practicing in training camp because I think he either had got hurt in the offseason or was still rehabbing something from beforehand. And there was a couple years there where you're the punter, you're just like, okay, so like I'm actually potentially going to earn like maybe 1/8 of my salary this year. Okay. All right, let's get to work. Sam's a good dude, though. We saw him down at the wedding down in Atlanta that we were at.
Very nice guy.
Very nice guy. Has a good time, too. Good guy to be around. Your dad's going to love him, Emmett. Your dad's going to love him. 43 minutes after the hour, we have to get to our second break here. We'll answer some calls on the other side. Be good, please. It's a feel-good Friday, even though incredibly sad things are happening in our world and in our country. How is the cop not in jail? Okay, I think that's everybody's. I stayed up all night last night watching a beautiful city get burnt down and everything like that, and people furious and all this. And it's like, how are people on television getting arrested, but the cop that did it is not getting arrested? It makes no sense. And that's why we are here to just be a complete distraction from everything that's happening in the world, because we're not smart enough to tell you why it's happening, how it's happening, or exactly what's happening. But we do know and understand that we are in a time right now that, boy, I hope we finally all come together. 44 minutes after the hour, we're back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show. I was on a team that was very bad at football. We almost were completely defeated until Dan Orlovsky showed up and got 2 big wins. We ended up almost losing the luck pick because Dan Orlovsky Everybody thinks they're going to get fired. Every player thinks they're going to get cut. Every coach thinks they're going to get fired. They try to pawn blame off on other positional groups. If it's the linebackers, they're like, we did our job. D-line can't do anything, can't stop it. There's a lot of that chatter, but it's a miserable existence. I mean, it's just the way it is. That's why you have to have so much respect for a player like Joe Thomas, who played a perennial all-pro career in a situation that was so negative and so terrible. I think if Joe Thomas got a chance and his knees let him experience a winning organization, I couldn't even fathom what Joe Thomas would have thought. I mean, life is just much better whenever you win. When you win, food tastes better. Drinks taste better. Sex feels better. Everything is better when you win. Winning cures all, they say. That's not just in the building and for a football team. That's in your life. Everything is just better when you win. And when you lose, especially when you're talking about some of the most competitive humans on earth, it is a nightmare. You got a lot of people trying to jump off the ship. You got a lot of people trying to figure it out. And whenever you're in a situation like that, it's just a full-blown nightmare for everybody. You got to think, when you get to the NFL, let's assume that the humans that make it to the NFL have had a lot of success through their lives. High school football, probably one good player, a guy who's going to make the NFL can lead a team to success. In college, if you have a couple good players that can make the NFL and make it to the Dolphins, even though the Dolphins stink, you're still going to make the NFL. Let's assume that team has had success. So then you get to a completely unsuccessful operation, a completely defeated operation, and then it's like, man, this is a whole new life for us. I'll never forget, I had a coach, special teams coach. I won't say his name because this is a terrible thing to say as a coach. We lost the game. It was back in the first regime. We were a good team. We lost the game, and everybody was moping. Like people were not happy that we lost the game the next day. He was, you guys just haven't lost enough. That's what he said. Everybody looked at him and was like, yeah, no crap. What are you talking about, dude? Yeah, this is the winningest decade in NFL history here. Yeah, you haven't lost enough. It's like, you've lost too much, maybe. Are you just comfortable at this point? And that's whenever it can get a little scary. Whenever people are just comfortable just getting their asses kicked every week, that could be a problem. That's when the culture is probably a lost cause. That's when the locker room's too worried about playing dice or playing Boo-Ray or anything else like that. When that starts happening after losses, then you know you're in a bad spot. And I would assume that's not happening at the Dolphins, especially under Ryan Fitzpatrick's watch. But maybe it is. I don't know. But that is a miserable existence. I am not a fan of that.
What's the number one sign of a bad home security system?
The cooks.
A home security system that's so complicated you never use it.
How do you guys send that to me, okay, and not expect me to think that's Sam Cooke?
What says CTV Ottawa News?
Does Sam Cooke live in Ottawa?
CTV? I don't know if he lives in Ottawa. What do I know about?
How do we know it's not Sam Cooke?
I just put out a tweet that had rapid action. Rapid action. I mean, this thing was going. to the sky and beyond. A family with the last name Cook, Koch, which was sent into our group, woke up with a moose in their pool this morning, okay? It's been there for 2 hours, and if you see the video of this moose, it's just literally swimming laps, just bouncing back and forth, casual relaxation and stuff. I thought that was Sam Cooke, the legendary all-pro punter from the Ravens house.
I think that's pronounced differently. Because I don't want to say it.
No, I know you probably think that, but that's why I am pronouncing it how it actually is pronounced. You hear what I'm saying?
Can I say the word?
No.
Yeah, go ahead, say it.
I don't think I can. It's FCC, right?
Go ahead, say how it's spelled.
Sam Cock.
Koch would be the accurate way if you wanted to actually say that.
Are you sure?
K-O-C-H. I'm pretty
It's
sure.
a silent H.
Oh, okay, so
It's a silent H.
okay, so the CH makes a K there in your eyes.
R-O-C-K.
Yo,
In the USA.
Buzz. Okay. Anyways, it's not Sam Cooke's house. So, hey, congratulations to Sam Cooke's pool liner not getting moose this month.
There you go. Boy, Sam.
As previously reported,
Fully penetrated.
bingo, splash. So that was a Canadian Cook family. Kind of, by the way, isn't that kind of judgmental of you to automatically assume Sam Cooke doesn't live in Ottawa?
I agree.
Well, he's from Nebraska, I think.
Yeah, pretty
So,
close to the border.
so,
Ottawa's a beautiful place.
I would also assume Sam Cooke had a much nicer pool than that.
now
nice
you're,
pool.
It's in the ground.
now you're economic class shaming
Connor
these
just
people
say
that
it's
woke up
in-ground.
with a moose in their damn pool. That's an in-ground pool, Nick.
Jeez.
That's a big pool.
That's a big. It's got a moose in it.
Listen, I know it's an in-ground pool,
You
but it's got the
piece
white
of-
lining around it. Like, I grew up with a pool around the
How
white
dare
lining.
you.
I expect Sam Cooke to have a
I'm sorry. I didn't know William Gates was over there.
Wow.
Wow. How dare you?
Get off your high horse.
Swim in your pool.
Anyways, it's not Sam. By the way, you swim in that pool, babies come out. That's a factual statement. One listener of the show right now is like, hits a bit close to home there, pal, with what you just said. That's how that pool works. It was a magical pool, but geez Louise, Nick. Sorry, Diggs, we interrupted what you were selling.
No. This
Sam Cooke did not have a moose in his pool.
is important to get to the bottom too. Plus, I think you might have got some other people because after your tweet, I did see Ravens punter Sam Cooke has a moose in his pool.
According to source. Oh, no, did I start?
As reported by the Pat McAfee show.
By the way, I would be the one that would have that news because I ruined it.
That happens. Simply Safe was designed to be easy to use while protecting your whole home 24/7. Order online with the click of a button. Open the box, place the sensors, plug it in, and your home is protected around the clock. No technician or salesperson has to come and disrupt your house. You don't need to pay any outrageous monthly fees or sign a 2-year contract. Simply Safe was named Best Overall Home Security of 2020. Head to simplysafe.com/Pat and get free shipping and a 6-day money-back guarantee. That's simplysafe.com/Pat.
That baby done today.
All right, radio, we're back on the other side. We got Canadian Gumpy's redemption gambling picks. That is Diggs and Ty. We'll see you on the other side.
Jeez.
Jeez, Fox.
What?
Goodness.
Oh, doesn't even know.
What happened?
You just fumbled.
Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. You got a lot of buttons to push back there.
Yeah,
Okay?
I was looking this way.
Can we pull up the Sam Cooke's potential family in Ottawa? We don't know if it's a relative. By the way,
cousins.
what I meant to say, no, it's Koch. Koch, the Cooks. The tweet was sent into the group text message. You should be able to see it. I did question that I did not know who the person was that was tweeting about it. And I also wondered why Sam Cooke wouldn't have put that out himself. But here's the moose in the Cook's pool in Ottawa. Woke up this morning, couple mooses around. The tweet was sent to the group text mid-show. I look at it. I see the Cooks, Koch, in our group text. Okay, obviously, that's fucking Sam Cooke. So I try to get that out as fast as possible because I am mesmerized by a moose just dancing around in the in-ground pool. Very nice in-ground pool. Very nice in-ground pool. The furniture outside of the pool may be set up for a party and a good time.
Is that wood around the pool
super nice
too?
furniture too.
You saw that? Well, that's
wood?
what I literally just said. And then the plastic there was probably a party tent that they had out for all their corporate sponsors and things of that nature.
Broken ass diving board.
No,
massive
the diving
yard
board.
Take it out for the moose.
They had to move the diving board because the olds were over there last night. But the moose took out the party tent, ends up in the pool. They wake up this morning with a moose in the pool. Moose in the pool. Moose in the pool. Boy, this is cool. Moose in the pool. It was not Sam Cooke, though, as I reported. And now others are reporting that I kind of set off a chain of events here where I'm crediting the wrong Cook family. This is a Canadian Cook family, which we are not sure if Sam Cooke lives in Canada or not. But my tweet was not accurate, and I would like to formally say that's on me. Hey, that's on me. But this is how we got to this point. It was sent as a text to me with the Cooks. That's on me.
Who sent the text again?
I sent it.
Oh, so Nick sent you the text as well.
And then Nick was the one who set himself up to say, you know, it's not Sam Cooke. You remember that's what he said.
Oh, that's what he said. I couldn't hear him from back there.
Oh, and then maybe he set himself up to compliment his own pool.
Yeah, I think he did.
Wow.
jeez.
Get off your high
Hey, Nick's pool is very nice.
My old man worked his ass off to make a much nicer pool than that. I'm sorry.
Oh, whoa. So,
You know.
Respect.
That pool stunk. I'm agreeing with Nick. I gotta agree with Nick. And I didn't have a pool growing up, but I probably wouldn't have even swam in that had I been invited to it.
there's fucking mooses jumping in
This
there.
is what you got, Mr. Cock?
All right, let's go to Cook.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. We had a Cook at our high school, didn't we? Yeah. What was his name?
John,
John Cook.
good guy.
Good guy. Like one of the best guys.
Listens to the show.
Does he have a pool in the backyard and move to
John
Canada?
Cook.
Good basketball player.
Good, great basketball. Good soccer player. He was an enforcer on the field. So technically, let's say not great technical skill day in, day out, would not put him up against Cristiano Ronaldo, this Cook. But he was an enforcer on the field. And I was a freshman playing, so he took care of me out there. Good guy.
Good guy.
I don't want to say he was like I had like a protector out there. It was very nice. He gave me a couple pep talks before going on the field a couple times.
Go out there and get a
Go mix it up, pal. I was like, all right, hey, I want to let you know I'm going to. I appreciate that. And I assume you'll just kill everybody. And by the way, I think he could have then, and he still could now. I'd assume he's still an animal. But that's how I know the Cook name. And maybe that's because I'm a little bit cultured, unlike Zito, who's just out here throwing out FCC violations. Cock in the house, y'all.
To be fair, isn't the KOCH Industries, the two brothers, isn't that pronounced Cock?
Coke.
Coke, okay. But it's spelled KOCH, so there are different tomato.
I thought it was Cook, them.
I thought it was Coke. It's definitely not cock.
Definitely.
I
not.
went to, yeah. Well, yeah.
You went to school with one of those?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God,
geez.
this country club yacht.
No, Brad, this
school
is,
with these
no,
people.
This is college. This
Dead
is college.
Poets Society.
Wow.
This is college. I had no
How did
control
you-
over this.
Wow.
I had no control.
We're back in a minute. Diggs just ran to the bathroom. We'll see if he gets back from his shit by the time radio starts. Foxy's normally that guy. He's already back in his seat, ready to go.
I'm actually dying for a water. We didn't have time though.
Can I get the mint can dips?
Yeah.
What I missed? What were you doing when we were going into break that I was finger messing with stuff?
Well, I was sending it to a break.
Oh.
And you had it on Diggs and Ty here trying to high five each other.
Yikes.
Don't worry about it. I mean, when I talk, people don't want to see me anyways.
No,
or
that's
hear
not
me
true.
sometimes.
That's not true.
Jeez.
Sorry.
No, Foxy, you got a lot going on, but wait for this right here. Ready? Good morning, beautiful people. It is Friday, May 29th. And just like we opened the first hour, we will open the second hour by saying we very much understand that there is a lot of sadness happening in America for a terrible act by a police officer who murdered a man in plain sight, basically. Now there's riots, protesting. I was up all night watching it on various news channels. The beautiful city of Minneapolis, Minnesota, is going through it right now. It looks like a war zone. Who knows if it's going to stop? I have no idea. They're arresting people. They haven't arrested the officer yet. This is a problem. Obviously, we share that sentiment with the rest of the world, by the way, that feels this way. This is something that is, there's no human no matter how dumb they possibly could be, could ever come out and defend it. And I'm happy that our world has come together. And hopefully this will be a moment where we go, hey, enough of this type of stuff going forward. We are one race. We are one place trying to move along in an efficient fashion, especially while the world is currently burning down with a quarantine and all this other stuff. It's time for us to come together once and for all, and I think we have. And I hope that'll end up being the story of this entire thing. That one hole of an ass cop and his friends that wouldn't stop him, which is very sad. Whenever he ends up getting charged with murder and spending the rest of his life probably just getting absolutely abused in jail, I think that'll be good, and that'll be the outcome, and hopefully we'll learn from this. Rest in peace to George Floyd. Should have never, ever happened. We feel very sad about that, but our show is supposed to be a mental vacation for people. It is supposed to be a distraction, and I know it can be very hard, especially when things like this are happening in the world, which are very real and very sad and very detrimental to the future of our entire society. We very much understand that, but we will be the idiots that dance on the TV. If you're looking, everybody's talking about this as he should. It's a big deal. It is not cool what happened to George Floyd. But for the next 58 and a half minutes, we're going to try to talk about things happening in the sports world, which is what we actually know about, as opposed to everything else, and try to be a nice distraction in this crazy, insane time to be alive. At Nick Moraldo's here, running the hack music in and out of breaks, rocking a NASA shirt, and NASA and SpaceX are potentially collabing to send 2 humans to space tomorrow from American soil for the first time since 2011. Yeah! America! They couldn't take off the other day because there was a slight drizzle, which Diggs did ask, what does that mean for said rocket if it can't handle some rain when it's going into space and potentially the space station? There's obviously no rain in space, but I would assume it's going to have to battle some other things, maybe puncturing a hole in our ozone, trying to battle through a cloud or two, but they wanted perfect conditions, which is cool. Let's keep the astronauts safe. But Nick and I were on the same side, that we understood that maybe the 5-hour lead up to nothing was a necessity if we want to really talk about safety for one of our best, 2 of our best, and the ninjas that were helping out are 2 astronauts that are representing NASA up there at the space station, Nick.
You know, you got to wait an extra day or 2. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't want to force these guys into a situation where something could go wrong, like the Challenger situation, Diggs.
And we will, or the Mad Mike situation, Diggs. We will not talk. We will not talk about the things that Diggs, Ty,
Connor,
No,
Zito.
I was on your side.
We will not talk about what things that those 4 said. We will just simply introduce them for the sake of NASA and our relationship with future astronauts and potentially Elon Musk. Just know that the boys got toxic while watching the 5-hour launch off, and they started bashing everything, and their minds have completely been turned. And I'm not proud that they work with me or alongside me and they have microphones, but here we are at Tone Diggs. You got nothing to say for yourself.
Pray for our astronaut safety.
Well said.
Pray that.
Amen. Is that right, huh, Ty?
Amen.
Amen. At Ty Schmidt is here. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know what? We just need a good production tomorrow. I'm not so mad at the astronauts. And that 5-hour lead up, when you put 5 hours into, I mean, a lot of people watched it. We put 5 hours into that thing, and not a damn thing happened.
Nobody watched it from start to finish, probably on Earth, as diligently as you guys did.
Correct.
And I will give you guys a lot of credit for that, because I went in and had 5 different calls with 5 different companies about for hours, and I come out and the tide had turned, and you guys had stayed in your seats. You were glued to the television because you thought something at some point is going to happen, and it just never ever did. So I can see why you guys could be disappointed, but in the grand scheme of things, we're sending somebody to the moon.
Well, and that's why I said I'm not disappointed in the astronauts. I'm disappointed in SpaceX.
By the way, they're not going to the moon, right?
No.
Space station.
So space station, what is it, about halfway home to the moon? Like, why don't we just?
To be honest.
Why don't we go back? Why don't we go back to the moon? Is that possible? Can Elon Musk get us to the moon? That's where he lives, probably on the inside of it. Has anybody ever asked him? No.
I wonder if he would have to build a docking station on the moon for said rockets.
Oh, because this thing's like a drone. It goes up. And then it comes back down on its ass like his tail feather. It lands like that. That's why it's a big deal. How much money are they paying him? SpaceX?
$55 million an astronaut, I believe.
Yeah, $55 million a seat.
So $110 million for those 2 to go up there. By the way, they talk about air travel tickets being outrageous. You know? Elon Musk, SpaceX took it to a whole nother level. $55 million
We
bucks
actually
a seat.
he cut him a break. They're paying Russia, what, 70-something million a seat?
Yeah,
Oh.
up to 86 million per
Up to
seat.
86, I'm sorry.
Well, by the way, Vladimir Putin, he's like, well, they got no planes that go where we go,
We
right?
make money off them.
We make money. We charge 2 million X what we should charge. And that's why it's a big deal to have it back here in America. But boy, I think they should talk to the old Elon Musk about potentially, hey, can we drop the prices a little bit, pal? Gas is down, by the way. Gas prices are very low right now. Is this going to be the lowest the seat's going to be? Because, boy, I'm sure there's some billionaires that are like, 55 million, you hop up in there? Put me in there. Can you add a third one in there? Can you get a jump seat in there? Let me get in there. I hope this happens tomorrow, though, because you guys will all feel like terrible
Safely.
individuals.
I want my name struck from the record, though, because I watched every single second, and the only thing I got mad about was the Mission Control not having a countdown from 2 hours.
At Viva Lazito is trying to not be associated with the people that were bashing NASA.
May I get strike that?
Yeah, you were only upset with the production because Zito Production's a real thing. Would have had a clock. Jason McAfee's here. Evan Foxy's here. And on the phones, 1-833-622-3331, drummer Boston Connor.
Hey, support the astronauts, all right, boys? Just go out there and support
That
the
is
astronauts.
not what you were saying.
Yeah, I was.
That was not what you were saying yesterday.
Yes, I was.
You
Support the
scumbags.
astronauts.
You scumbags.
What are you talking
You're
about?
saying, I cannot believe this just turned by you three,
What
by
do
the
you-
way.
what do you mean?
You three were set in so deep in the stone about how disappointed you were in the astronauts, Elon, and how you hated everybody.
Disappointed in the weather, Pat. We weren't disappointed in anybody else except for Mother Nature raining on our parade.
That's a lie. At intern Mid, if he
Support
was
the
here,
Knots.
he wasn't here, by the way. But if
What?
he was here, wasn't he? Was intern Mid here at that time?
He was.
Did you keep minutes of what everybody was saying out there, Mid?
No, I did not keep minutes. I
Fire
fell
him.
asleep.
Fire him.
You fell asleep while America was going to send 2 humans to space?
For a couple hours.
It was a very long.
He was very bruised
broadcast.
up. He was very
I
bruised
fell
He was
asleep.
sleeping one off. He was sleeping one off.
What's
You ready for me to blow your mind?
Bingo. Let me take off these glasses. Cool glasses.
Cool glasses, by the way.
way.
The moon is 240,000 miles away.
That's all?
The space station is 250 miles away.
250?
250.
It was a 14-hour drive.
And that's
Actually less.
That's what they said last night.
so it's a 240,000 miles away is the moon,
Yeah.
and the space station's 250 miles?
Yep.
What is going
Wait,
on the
from
moon?
where, though? From where is this from?
What is happening on the
From
moon?
Earth.
That is so.
From, like, the ozone?
How did we get to 240,000 miles away from Earth? And now it's like a big deal if we get to the space station.
Are we protecting
All
the
right, then
moon?
let's not be comparing these guys to frickin' Neil. Are you kidding me? These
Makes you
guys are
think,
making a
doesn't it?
Sunday drive up to the space station.
Makes you
250
think.
miles.
It's pretty close.
240,000 miles? Is that what you said?
Huh? Yeah, 240,000. It's a 4-hour drive. It's 250
In the
miles.
60s. In 1960.
That's going 60 miles an
I
hour.
know, that's going 60 miles an hour.
Not 65,000 miles an hour.
That is insane.
So they get there in what? 30? It's a 30-minute flight.
And
to
if you
the
remember,
space
I
station?
watched that landing or the moon thing or whatever the documentary was. They had the slingshot around
yeah.
the moon. Which how big's the moon now? So how far away?
big.
They went to the other side. What is that? How many? I don't even know what it could possibly be. But now they're on the other side
went
of the
to
moon.
the dark side?
They are. Well, they had a slingshot around that son of a
You can't
bitch.
get anywhere in space without doing a good slingshot. You need to propel yourself.
Use the gravity.
Operation Slingshot.
Shake and bake, baby.
That's what I was referring to. I was not.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, he just.
Robot voice. Control console.
Let's go to Brad in Iowa. Brad, did you know the moon is 240,000 miles away from us?
That is correct.
Jeez. Brad in Iowa does not.
Yeah, that was a good, nice little Sunday drive. Good comment there.
Hey, man.
Hey, Pat, good to hear you and Jay getting some bro time in the drive to work.
Bro it up.
Yeah, it was good, bro.
You know, just got to give a shout out to you guys. Doing a hell of a job.
This is your brother?
Really enjoy listening to you.
This is a
Coach
Schmidt?
Campbell.
I think so, yeah.
This is a Schmidt here?
Yeah. Yep. No doubt. There we go.
Family time.
Oh, that's why you did the bro time setup, because then you... Okay, because you're the brother.
Speaking of my bro.
Okay, Brad.
Hey.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, you know, Jason sits in the back. He don't say much, but you know, he looks like a silent assassin.
Well, he is, Brad. Brad, I want to know what the Schmidt family was like, just because I feel like you're probably all very similar-minded individuals. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and Ty, Mad Mel Kiper, right, is a beautiful depiction, I believe, of what Ty is inside of his essence for just about everything, not just terrible draft picks. I think a lot of things. Is that the entire Schmidt family, Brad?
No, Ty's always kind of been the character of the group. Obviously we get together. It's a pretty good barb fest across the board. Pretty much anything goes. But since I think Ty was in 8th grade when I was a senior in high school. He just cracking the room up nonstop. It didn't matter, where we were at.
That's nice.
Not always the most appropriate,
This
but
is bro time.
he hilarious.
It's him.
It's always appropriate. It's always
Brad.
appropriate.
I feel like this is a feel good. This is awesome. Yeah, because you don't really hear this with Ty, right? I mean, Ty, it's the complete opposite of love on a normal basis. Here's some real love from the brother in the Schmidt household. I'm a big fan of this.
Hey, no doubt. I'm definitely proud of where he's at, and like I said, this quarantine, listening to you guys has been highlight of my day. I get a little walk, listen to McAfee Hawk Sports Talk, and it's just been great to listen to you guys. But Pat, I was wondering, you did that little bit for I'm a high school football coach here in Waterloo, and you did that bit for us before week 1. Wanted to let you know we beat the brakes off that.
Let's go, Waterloo Tigers.
35-6, but I was, you and AJ talk a little bit on McAfee Hawk Sports Talk about, AJ's playing days at Centerville High School. I was wondering how you were used at Plum. Obviously you kick and punted, but offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball. You said you were 4.65, so I'd imagine you
it's probably faster
carried the rock a little bit in your heyday, or maybe slung it around.
Thank you, Brad. Hey, Brad, great to hear from you. I can't wait to meet you in person, by the way. Good
pal.
call there.
Love you, pal.
Oh, I cut him off. He didn't hear that. He didn't hear that. I love you.
Just
You don't tell him enough, by the way. You should tell him more because he loves you a lot.
Well, he's a notorious. You text him, he doesn't text you back. But
Is there beef?
Brother beef.
No.
Yeah, he's the high school football coach, right, for Waterloo,
Yeah.
Iowa?
Yep.
And I sent a motivational video to the boys to be shown in the locker room beforehand. It's nice to know they went out and won 30-6.
35-6.
Let's go, boys. Pretty pumped up about that. I don't know. The fact they didn't kick any field goals kind of alarming, but I like that they just go ahead and stack
They have
up.
a very good kicker, though. Extra points.
Well, he went 5 for 5 there on extra points. Obviously,
Solid.
that's not easy. I mean, granted, high school uprights are the size of a building, and you're kicking from the 10-yard line, which, by the way, is what Diggs could probably do that. So, and I didn't miss any kicks in high school, by the way. So, because of what I just said, I mean. Some of them snuck in for sure. I mean, they were not all beautiful balls, but when you're trying to kick it and you just have to get it basically through the end zone, and it counts. I mean, it's a lot easier. And that was kind of my introduction. I played soccer, though. I think anybody that knows and probably heard me talk about this, so if this is repeating, I apologize, but there's really nothing to talk about that we haven't covered already. So go back to the beginning if you want to talk about real stuff. I don't want to do it again. It's Friday. It's Feel Good Friday. Let's get to it. I was a soccer guy, though. I played a lot of soccer. I had more schools, like probably 10x amount of schools looking at me for soccer than I did for football. And that started like my freshman year of high school. So when I say I was a pretty good soccer player, I was a pretty good soccer player. I mean, got a chance to travel the world a bit, play soccer. I had a cannon of a leg, obviously. Didn't have great cardio because I was, built like a spark plug my entire life. But football, the first time I won the punt, pass, and kick thing because my mom put me in there because on the street, we played football in Pittsburgh every day, basically, and I was always full-time quarterback. I had a massive leg, so we thought I was potentially literally procreated for the punt, pass, and kick contest, and turns out I was. So I go and win that whole thing. I win the national championship. I'm on television. I throw the shocker on TV, which was big for the boys at the high school. The administration did not love it, but it was kind of our thing. To hell with them. Turns out they were much worse. Won't even go there. But when I got back, I was asked if I wanted to come kick. First time I ever kicked a football was like freshman year of high school, maybe 8th grade, actually did the whole thing. I kicked like a 60-yard field goal, right? So it was like literally the first time. We knew it was there, but soccer was literally my full-time focus. I was driving. Tim McAfee and I had been in cars so much. That's why I know so many songs, because when you're driving around in a Subaru Impreza or a Subaru Forester or an Outback or whatever it is, always a Subi, by the way, for Tim McAfee when we were traveling, because it was reliable. Ain't that right, Jay? Subis were reliable, is what Tim McAfee said.
I ran that thing to like 250,000 miles or
Yeah,
something.
that thing. So Tim and I were in there a lot, listening to music, and I played on a bunch of different teams. So whenever the football thing popped up, our high school football team, and this is not a shot at Diggs or the football team, just didn't have a notoriously great record. We were in a wild part of Pittsburgh where there was immense talent everywhere, and our soccer team was kind of much more, successful than the football team. I was a rather large part of the soccer team since my freshman year. So it was kind of like, I want to focus on this. This could get me to college. This could make me money someday. But then after the punt, pass, and kick thing and some attention comes, I work a deal with the football team, basically. It's like, hey, you don't have to come to practice. Just come on Fridays. So I would literally show up sometimes, walk in with the fans. Okay, I have like my pads or whatever. First couple games, had no idea how to put on the pads, had that entire thing. But then I would walk in from a soccer game. We had a Friday afternoon soccer game. My mom would then drive me to the football stadium. I would then go into the locker room, meet the team on the field for warm-ups, put on the pads, have a game and everything like that. So there was never really much practice or planning. But there was a couple times where there was a first game I was in, ball gets snapped over Holder's head to like the 40. Okay, so it was supposed to be an extra point or a field goal. I don't remember what it was. Diggs, do you remember?
I don't remember either. I was just thinking about it.
It was either a short field goal or an extra point. Snapper, first game of the season, a little bit jacked up. He was actually a good snapper now that I've seen other snappers. He was good, but he sends it over the Holder's head. It goes back, right? I've been playing pickup football my entire life, not really organized football. So I turn around, and I'm bigger than a lot of the people on the field at this time. First time in pads. I sprint, scoop that thing up at like the 40, and now I turn, and it's basically there's a couple of our blockers, but whenever the ball snapped overhead, offensive linemen aren't built to turn and run and do like a punt block. So I have pretty much an entire defense now coming at me at this point. Hey, shake and bake, cuz throw somebody off my waist. He's trying to tackle me as I scoop it. I do like a hip momentum throw. He flies. Then I shake a guy, and then I end up in the end zone, like a dive in the end zone. 2-point conversion. Real thing. I think we have the film somewhere.
I am going home next weekend, and I do have I'm pretty sure I have all the game tapes. I will find it.
Attaboy, Tony.
So I rode the bus back with the team afterwards, like as a camaraderie type thing. You know what I mean? Because I didn't
Good
really
bus rides home.
good bus rides home. But I rode with because I couldn't always get there, and I feel like camaraderie is a big deal. I want them to respect me too. So it was like one of those things. I was friends with a lot of the guys.
He's part of the team.
But I wanted to, commit. Like instead of just hopping in a car and going to Smarty or the wherever we're going to party and beat the team there. Like, okay, I'll just go with the team or whatever. So on that bus, there was a conversation about, hey, like maybe we should, potentially get him the ball a little bit. And I was like all in. I was like, hell yeah. Like, hey, hell yeah.
Time.
Let's go. If I don't have to come to practice and I'm just getting a chance to maybe do like a Pac-Man offensive set where I just come in and run like maybe a stop route and then we just run in something and we just hope I'm more athletic than people. I'm like, here we go. Now this is dream setup here. And I could throw the ball forever. So it was like, maybe we get a couple of trick plays in there or whatever. Ooh. And then the coach was very scared. He didn't want to get me hurt. He was basically like, hey, we don't have a lot of guys that get recruited out of this high school to like big things. And at that point I was doing ODP stuff. I was getting scouted for the Olympics and things like that in soccer. I was getting a lot of schools, a lot of interest. And the football coach was like, hey, listen, I'm not going to be responsible for you getting hurt playing another sport. And it kind of got nullified. We ran a couple more fakes that were just like field goal. The holder would toss me the ball. I would grab it and then just sprint right to the pylon. The first time I did it, such an idiot. They pitch me the ball. I have the edge, right? I know I have the edge, but I don't know how many times I'm going to get to do this in my life. So, hole of the ass, I dive, act like I have to, right? Like I could have walked in. I could have just walked right in, but I literally dive like this, and just as a joke or whatever, and I bat the pylon or whatever. Kind of a cool celebration. They watch film the next morning. I get a text. It was like, you're about 1.5 inches from stepping out of bounds before I would have got in, so that thing would have counted. But we had a couple couple of times, but there was never really any full setup. I played Pee Wee football there for a
when
little.
we were younger, I was 7th grade. You were 8th grade. I was quarterback. We hooked up for a few touchdowns.
Yeah, I played safety. I played running back, wide receiver, punt return, kick return.
5-tool player.
Yeah, but then because it was right at the same time as Cup.
Beadling, I remember.
Yeah, it was right at the same time as Cup Soccer, which was where you get all the scouting basically. And my team was good, so it was just like there was never the right timing for it. But there was a conversation on a bus where I thought I was potentially going to have 10 touchdowns that year, and I was riding hot, boy. I think even after the game, maybe we met up with like some members of the soccer team or whatever. I'm like, boys, I think I'm going to score like 10 touchdowns today. Like, this is good news. It just never panned out because the coach was like, I don't want to get you anywhere near hurt.
Smart in the long run, obviously.
I don't think so.
No?
I mean, it all
Probably
worked
wouldn't
out.
have got hurt, but yeah.
It all worked. I mean, it all worked out, right?
Yeah.
It all worked out. But I mean, how awesome would that have been? Man, imagine me having a high school highlight tape right now.
Randy Moss and guys all over the field.
There was one fake punt attempt that I got slaughtered on. And it wasn't a fake punt attempt. The snap came in low, and I like bobbled it. And I think we were down maybe 20 at the time. And I was like, all right, I'm going to run this. And as I went to run left, the team saw that I decided I was going to run it. And they were I think it was against Gateway. And I thought I was just going to punt it left-footed then at that time. Right. I was like, I'll just sneak this one out. I'll just get it out. And as I dropped it, I got, it was pretty. And then there was a scrum, so they didn't get any yards. But, boy, that was my first real shot of taking like a big shot. And I was like, whoa, I don't know. I don't know if this is meant for me.
Maybe I should play soccer, actually.
So we had a good time, though. Team was a cool group of dudes. I mean, it was a cool team. Just the competition. We played Sean Lee, Justin. I mean, the players that were getting played against was just the football team. These guys, they were just running into buzzsaws week in and week out. And it was like, well.
I mean, one guy had 6 touchdowns and a half against you guys.
Yeah, and he touched the ball 7 times. Okay? 7 times touched, 6 touchdowns sat at halftime. One time I tackled him. That was it. I tried to strip him too. Imagine if I would have had a strip on him. He did remember that. He ended up playing for the Colts, by the way. And a story came up where I brought it up at like lunch or something where there was a group. I was like, Jesse, you remember when you played against my high school and you touched the ball, I think 7 or 8 times, and you had 6 touchdowns or whatever? He was like, yeah, you tackled me. I was like, you're damn right. Hey, remember that. He was a cool guy.
Your senior year, we lost to Sean Lee in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He was very good.
Very good.
You guys had Jens Farley, though, right?
Sean Lee kicked. Sean Lee kicked, played linebacker and running back, and played on the soccer team, I think, right? At that point. Him and his brother both played on both teams. Yeah. That would have been cool if I would have got into that. But soccer was always supposed to be the thing. It was like, okay, if I can get a free education just running 45 miles a night and kicking a round ball at a net harder than anybody else, that's what we'll do. Because let's not leave our for show money looking for more money, because you might end up with no money. And then we ended up doing that anyways. And we ended up with for show money. All right, 22 minutes after the hour, we got to go to a break. Nice trip down memory lane. Joe Hadley, by the way, does not get enough credit for Whippeal high school football dominance. Joe Hadley. Also, Anthony DeGilio. DeGilio was recruited to play football at an Ivy League school that isn't technically an Ivy League school because they don't have enough grass on their campus.
Who wins in Oklahoma, Joe? You or Jens Farley?
Oh, he was talking to me?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Joe Hadley.
He's a big boy.
He is a big boy. He will kill you.
He's the best. By the way,
way bigger than I am.
If I hear that I have to do an Oklahoma drill against Joe Hadley, I'm not going in there. Because that son of a bitch will do it anything.
He was Owen Schmidt.
He was.
He has killed before. He will kill you.
Bingo. He was the guy, by the way, back of the bus on the football bus, laying down on the bus, on the back seat with his leg up, by the way. That was Joe Hadley. He had the back seat every time. It was like every time you went back there to talk to him, it was like you're going to get, like, walk the carpet or whatever. Like, all right, what do you want to talk about back? All right, get the hell out of here. Good guy. Still see him to this day.
Oh, yeah.
He almost killed a guy at a casino one time.
Yeah. Never look at his watch. Elbow right to the chest every time.
Yeah. But what are you looking at? 24 minutes after the hour. We're back on the other side. Very dumb show. And that's what we're trying to do. This is the Pat McAfee Show. I was told by Del Curry, Scottie Pippen struggles on the golf course, right?
Right.
I was told at that thing that I'm going against Scottie Pippen the next day. Match play, heads up, one-on-one Scottie Pippen. So we decide, like, okay, we could probably have a couple drinks, stay at the casino a little bit longer than we should.
Representing the NFL out of the Shoeless Golf Club of America, Pat McAfee. His opponent, representing the NBA, Scottie Pippen.
You know what I mean? This guy's got 6 rings. Yeah. He's a fucking Hall of Famer. But today he's going to play against me. And then I start seeing Scottie hit some shots that are just like starting to come together. And I'm like, wait a fucking minute. I think I was lied to.
We were lied to yesterday. We were told Scottie Pippen was a terrible golfer. Bro, he's Scottie fucking Pippen.
Going in the back 9, I think I was down 1. Like, we were battling. But I started making putts. And Scottie Pippen went ahead and got real hot. I mean, real fucking hot. I was down 3 with 7 left. And I looked right in the camera, and I go,
So we're down 3 with like 7 holes left. Scottie Pippen's about to get this work.
Scottie Pippen from 190 yards out just fucking dunks it. Fucking boom, bang, and then walks up to the green, gets the ball, camera's on him, and he goes, Pippen ain't easy. Kidding me.
All right, down 4 with 6 left after Scottie Pippen just chips him from fucking 400 yards out.
I was fucking demoralized.
Pippen ain't easy, is it?
By the way, best he's ever performed at golf, because I'm around, better teammate than Jordan.
Yep.
People forget. Oh, yeah, I told Del, I was like, Del, what the fuck you lying to me? He was like, well, I saw it yesterday. He was not great. And Greg Anthony told me, and I was like, Del, he buried me, Del Curry. He buried me. He was like, hey, Pippen ain't easy.
Yes, baby, it's time to celebrate.
Talking about a shotgun of beer after he had beat me. Obviously, I like teach him how to do it.
Yeah, put a hole in there. It might spray a little bit, so.
Leave
Yeah, so you're going to go here, and then you're going to open and flip up. Does that make sense? Congrats on winning the NBA a couple of times, blah, 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 blah. And being an incredible golfer.
Thanks, Paul.
Cheers, man.
Appreciate it.
Hey. 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 Hey.
Damn.
Okay,
That's the
Scotty.
best Bud Light I ever had.
Hey, there's no stuck hitting up here.
You right.
God damn it!
Hey, so you read this, then I'll do like an extended intro for Gumpy while you find the intro for Gumpy, and then play the intro Gumpy, and then Gumpy gives us our locks that he's not going to lose.
Redemption,
Redemption locks for our Canadian friend. Do your thing, Zito.
You got it. Everyone needs a great pair of wireless earbuds, and you already know Raycon earbuds start about half the price of any other premium wireless earbuds on the market. And that they sound just as amazing as other top audio brands you know.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Their newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, are their best ones yet, with 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth audio, and more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise isolating fit. Raycon's wireless earbuds are so comfortable.
An isolating fought?
Yeah, I thought it was an A. It was my spit that hit the paper.
Well, if it was an A, that'd be fat.
That's how you guys pronounce it?
No. Zito, we did not say that. That would only be Nick that would be saying that.
Nick, come on.
Nick, come on.
Nick.
Why'd you say he was fought, dude?
Why just read the ad, Zito?
Why'd you say he was a big fought Stooge, Nick?
Nick, why are you smiling?
Why is that
Nick.
funny?
Why are you
Nick?
laughing?
Go back to your
Oh, is that
pool.
funny, Nick?
Go back to your pool.
Billy Gates.
William.
Lord Tooth.
Look, all I'm saying is Lucas Lagoon would not put together a pool like that. That pool was crap.
Lucas Lagoon charges no less than $700K.
Does it free out of the goodness of his heart for those deserving of it. That pool stunk. They should get a refund from Lucas
Wait,
Lagoon.
there's a Pit My Ride for pools?
Oh, yeah. And it's awesome.
You'll watch 4 or 5 episodes, and then you'll be like, all right, Lucas, get the hell off my television.
I
Nick
reached
is
out.
in love with the show.
I reached out to Paul Cook, or how we pronounce his name? Cook. And he has not responded back, but I want Frank to tell him in his face that he has a horrible pool.
Okay.
Anyways,
He
you've
knows.
heard me.
No, he doesn't. That's a good point. He put his entire life savings in that pool, and now Moose is ruining the liner, and you guys are ruining his morale.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Unlike.
Sorry,
sorry.
No, Zito, I'm sorry.
Do you want to start from the top, or should I just?
No.
Definitely don't start
Please,
from the top.
jeez.
You've heard me talk about how the company was co-founded by Ray J. Ray J in the house, yeah.
Ray J in the house.
And
I hit
celebrities
it. I
like
hit it.
Please Pick, Snoop Dogg, Cardi B, Melissa Etheridge, Brandy, J.R. Smith are obsessed with Raycons. Now, the time to see what the hype is all about. Can I call to action?
Absolutely do it.
Got it. Get 50% off your order at buyraycon.com/Pat. That's buyraycon.com/Pat for 50% off Raycon Wireless earbuds. That is buyraycon.com/Pat.
That a boy, Z. Ladies and gentlemen, just a few days ago, we told you that we had a friend who was on a heater. We lied to you because he was on a heater before we said that. And then immediately upon us saying that, he fell off the heater. He gave out these locks and everybody hammered it on FanDuel. Got a text from FanDuel, said, hey, bit of an uptick here on these bets.
Yeah.
And then they said, thank you for making that happen because he went 1-3 on his 4 locks. This is time for redemption from our Canadian friend. He hasn't been able to come to America because the border's been shut down. He escaped Indianapolis literally the day before the Canadian border was locked down. Our friend from Canada, Bundesliga expert gambler, Canadian Gumpy's Locks.
Hey, pal. I'm locked in Canada, so here's some of my locks.
Okay, Gump?
We got a big one today, Pat. Bayer Leverkusen looking to bounce back against Freiburg.
No, you said this Bayern Leverkusen thing the other day, and we had a massive catastrophe and controversy on whether or not you knew what you were talking about.
That was the only game they've lost in their last 10. Freiburg has only won one of their last 10.
Didn't he have us bet on Freiburg last week? He did. You had us bet on Freiburg just a couple days ago.
Yeah, they covered plus half a goal.
That's what we're talking about. So we hate him now. Bayern Leverkusen, what is the bet?
Money line, minus 135.
Minus 135 money line. Okay, going with quite a favorite there. All right, what's next?
We got 2 for tomorrow. We got Hertha Berlin, money line over Augsburg. Berlin's coming off a big tie against a very good team in RB Leipzig. They've been playing well since coming back. So I look for them, money line. They're plus 110, I believe.
Tear down that wall. Hertha Berlin. Okay, got it. Money line.
And the last one tomorrow, Wolfsburg, money line. They're playing really well right now. And Frankfurt has only won 2 on the road all year long. Wolfsburg, money line here as well.
Are we worried, okay? Are we worried that when you're just sending us these bets, okay, we're making a lot of money. And this might be selfish of me and the room, but some stuff should be for me, okay? I feel like I do a lot of stuff for other people. This one's for me. We had a money train in Gumpy's text messages to us in this Bundesliga gambling. A money train. I mean, we were potentially getting our accounts spied on by FanDuel because of the heater we were on. And then all of a sudden, we make it public because we want everybody to win money. And all of a sudden, he goes 1-3. Are we worried that this is potentially not only going to hurt everybody's bank account and Gumpy's record, but also our bank accounts? What about our bank accounts in this entire
Yeah, they don't like that.
Who?
The gambling gods.
That Gumpy's out here flexing?
Yeah. Hermes is not happy.
Oh, jeez.
Bayern Leverkusen, Hertha Berlin, and Wolfsburg. You're saying is, hey, my redemption 3 locks, let's all get rich out here?
We did bounce back on Wednesday with a 3-1 day.
Oh, so you're saying you're back off the schneid, you're on the heater back again.
I'm calling it an anomaly, Pat.
I like that.
The losing?
Yes.
I didn't know how to spell that.
Did you get your beard trimmed?
Anomalies.
Oh,
Is that legal? Or did you do that yourself?
I did it myself. Yeah, definitely.
What are the rules up in Canada? Canada's locked down, huh?
No, we're opening back up. We haven't had a case where I live in BC for 2 weeks, I believe.
Oh, hey, if it's anything like our phases, 14 days is the big number. If you get 2 weeks, bang, you're back in the whole thing. Just like a couple weeks ago, we saw some Canadian getting dragged out of a park, though, by the park rangers or whatever. Is that?
Yeah, it's still pretty bad in Calgary, Alberta, I believe.
How about in Ottawa? They got mooses jumping in pools.
The guy in the Ravens lives in Ottawa.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gumpy's Locks, Wolfsburg, Hertha Berlin, and Bayern Leverkusen bounce back for our Canadian friend with his Canadian locks. Ladies and gentlemen, at Bubba Gumpino.
Gumpy, miss you, pal.
Oh, good job.
Hey, Mitt, it's not a long weekend, so take it easy on Sunday, pal.
Wow.
That's smart, by the way.
Yep, good advice.
Wow. That's a Canadian liver talking to you. See, that's an international piece of advice that maybe you should see for a little bit. You're muted. Jay muted you.
Thank God.
Jay muted you. Jeez, Connor.
What?
Gumpy, be safe up there, pal. We miss you. Thanks for these
Have
locks.
a good one, boys.
I will say this, though. If these ones lose, okay, no offense to the viewers or whatever, we have to turn this particular segment off and find another Canadian segment for our friend Gumpy here, because I enjoy when you pop into my life, but I also enjoy the bank account and the FanDuel account just going yodely, 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 yodely on these Bundesliga's games.
Very fair, Pat. Very fair.
Ladies and gentlemen, at Bubba Gumpino.
Boy, Gumpy.
You have been very fair.
Me?
Stern but fair.
I feel like that's this show. I feel like I'm relatively fair.
Yeah.
We even covered the Dan Orlovsky, Damian Lillard thing. Had to cover it. I mean, that's happening in our world. Here's the thing that we covered the other day. The NBA said we're going to have a 16-team tournament in a biodome situation down in Orlando because Disney's our biggest partner. So, of course, we're going to do it at Disney. We have a big deal with ESPN, big deal with ABC, and they have an entire area that can kind of be shut down for our teams to go there. We're going to do it. 16-team tournament, no Eastern Conference, no Western Conference. We're just going to seed the top 16 teams. And we're going to do this thing. Milwaukee Bucks are at number 1. They have a pretty good little lane to the finals if they would like it. The Lakers actually have a very difficult lane for the finals, but the Clippers and Lakers could meet each other. The Bucks and Lakers could meet each other. They have it set up in a fashion that is actually pretty enjoyable, but then they changed the thing. They're like, you know what? There's going to be a couple play-in games. And we said, and I said, because we are a big fan of this man, the NBA was making these play-in games to add into the 16-team tournament to 4 more teams so they could get Zion Williamson in the tournament. That is literally, Zion's the next star. Everybody knows it. If you don't think Zion's the next star, that means you're not watching basketball or whatever it is. This dude has been taking over the internet for the last 25 years of his life somehow. He's only 20 or 18, whatever he is, 19 years old. But it seems like for the last 2 decades, I've been watching this dude dunk on people. They said he couldn't do it at Duke. He did it at Duke. They said he couldn't do it with the Pelicans. He was doing it at the Pelicans. They were resting him, and he was still putting up big numbers. I got a chance actually to go down there and introduce the Pelicans starting lineup because I thought they were potentially disrespecting Zion by not having him be introduced last because he is obviously the guy down there. I go down there. They're like, hey, Drew Holiday's our OG. The GM doesn't want to put too much heat on Zion. He's already got enough pressure his entire life. They don't want to introduce him last and whatever. We're all here for Zion. I did the intros. I'm probably Zion's. No, everybody seems to be a Zion fan if you like anything. But the NBA wanted Zion in there, so they had a 14 play-in thing. They also got Damian Lillard, I believe, is also in that play-in thing. Yep. So it's good. Everything that Orlovsky and Dame got into yesterday is literally for naught because the games actually matter for Damian. So he's like, okay, I'll come and do it. Yeah. It's just a very interesting situation here that the NBA understands. Like, hey, this is not normal. Okay, this is not a routine tournament. This is not a champion that we should act as if it's like anything else before. We have our stars. There's still stars that aren't in this thing. How do we make it work? Boom, 14 playing. Let's get them in there. Let's do the 16-team thing. Let's do it down in Orlando. I like what they're doing, and I like that I could potentially watch Zion. Then I could go watch Sidney Crosby. Then I could watch Giannis and Bron. Then I can watch. It's going to be a back.
Euro. Manu,
back-to-back sports.
And
That's what's going to be happening. LeBron back-to-back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Layup. Didn't travel. That's what's going to. Big LeBron guy too, by the way.
Huge.
I like winners. Like, hey, call me what you want. I like enjoying myself instead of being miserable. That's why I hate the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I'm from Pittsburgh, because they stink. Hope nothing has to sell the team because it looks like the MLB's not coming back, but the NBA is making the right decision. And Brian Windhurst, who knows everything, was on ESPN and said basically they're doing it so they can get Zion back in play.
Just makes sense.
Does make sense.
You might as well have your biggest young star in the tournament.
Giannis is what some people are saying is the biggest young star. I mean, the next generation of basketball is basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Very,
For
very
these
good.
tournaments, too, you got to think this is probably the most healthy as a league going into the playoffs. So, like, there will be an asterisk, but the competition is still going to be great.
Big 10-4. Big 10-4. I think it's going to be great. I think this is going to be awesome. And that's why the NBA players, they know that it's going to be a chance to steal the show. There's not a lot of things on. They know that it's going to be different. It's going to be electrifying content. And that's why all the NBA stars have come out and said, yeah, we want to do this for sure. This is something we would love to do. What up, Fox?
Okay, so those 4 teams are playing for the 16 seed, you said, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Where do the Magic go on this tournament bracket here?
So 16 and 15 will play the winners of the 20 versus 17 and the 19 versus 18 seeds. So for those last 2 spots.
So the Nets and Magic will play either the Spurs, the Pelicans, the Blazers,
or the Kings.
Yeah.
Got it.
Makes sense.
Yes.
So it's a play-in to play-in.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that makes more sense.
If I am Milwaukee, I do not want to play any of those 4 teams from the Western Conference over the Orlando Magic, who they would just run through.
Yeah, no chance.
Take it easy, bro. It's hometown team, bro. Might be sleeping in their own houses down there.
On the opposite end, for the Lakers, you would want to play any of those 4 teams except for the Nets if Kevin Durant comes back.
Well, yeah, if Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are in that first round, which they could be, I guess, because let's assume that they've gotten healed up from everything. Now you got to take on KD potentially. He's going to get hot, and Kyrie. And then the next round, you got Russell Westbrook and James Harden. The Lakers have a tough go with this thing, and LeBron has been the loudest speaker saying, hey, let's get this thing back going. And the NBA was like, is that right? Okay. Okay, we'll do it. Okay. Lakers, Nets, potential Rockets, then potentially the Clippers with Kawhi, so we can have a repeat of the Toronto finals last year where Kawhi Leonard, even though he was a stud for the Spurs, he just absolutely took over an entire country, an entire league, an entire finals. And that bounce that went in still makes no sense. Still makes no sense at all. The NBA is getting it right. I'm happy for him. Just like the NHL, getting it right. Happy for him. NFL, allegedly getting it right. Happy for him. The Danish Soccer League, getting it right. Getting it right.
Oh, yeah.
I've pitched a couple times now for the NFL to have just a full field line of TVs or jumbotrons. Yes, this is exactly what I pitched for football. If they're not going to have anybody in the stands, you could probably get people to pay top dollar for one of these Zoom seats.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, I don't know how much the guy that kind of looks like generic white guy me in the outfield there or wherever he's in. I don't know how much that guy paid, but how do you get that's like the suite. You get the big shot, and everybody else is kind of in a small one. A lot of people are saying, hey, it's only a matter of time for some cam girls or dongs kind of infiltrate this thing. You do what you got to do. That's going to happen. Potentially at a stadium, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's happening potentially at a stadium. But
Streakers.
I think this is something that I pitched the idea. I was told I was stupid, and now the Great Danes are over here using it for their soccer thing. And I'm like, hey, I like the idea. I like what you're doing. But it is being said now, Texas is opening their stadiums back up to 25%. The Saints said, worst case scenario, we'll have 13,000 people in the Superdome. I mean, it feels as if there's other workarounds, but I like that the Danes gave this one a go, just in case in the future, by the way. Just in case in the future.
You think there's gonna be rules where like home fans can't be around behind home goal? Because like if it's a away team breakaway, all the guys will do is just like take his pants down, like you were saying. Like
could happen in the game.
That's
part of the game.
Oh,
the
gosh.
Eagles.
Respect the game.
I think they were one of the first ones that were trying their best to distract kickers from the other team. So whenever you're kicking a field goal or lining up a field goal, there's a jumbotron in the back. You can see the play and see yourself, right? So you can see everything. The Eagles, I believe, were the first team. They just zoomed in on the face of the kicker, like in the whole entire jumbotron. So whenever you're lining up, you literally just see your face on the big thing, right? And that could be a bit distracting. Like as Vinatieri was taking the steps back, I like looked up there. I was like, That's very smart. Like that could be a bit distracting. Then the Patriots just have a blank screen when Gostkowski's kicking. They just have the entire screen blank, and then it's other thing. So if you're the Zoom person that's behind the uprights or behind the goal, you have a responsibility to your team, okay? Because if this was an away game, they'd be trying to do it to your team.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and maybe that's why that big guy was on the screen back there. Maybe he is a known, notorious, distracting guy, and maybe that's why he's there.
Good
but
basketball
I
player.
think that is a move. I think that is a move you could do. We have to get to another break, our final break for radio. We understand that the world has some terrible things going on and terrible decisions being made by people that we put into positions to make good decisions for people. We hope those sons of bitches go to jail forever. T's and P's to the beautiful city of Minneapolis, Minnesota! But we just try to be a mental vacation from it all. We're back on the other side to wrap up hour 2 here of the Pat McAfee Show, Friday, May 29th. Rest in peace to George Floyd. We echo the sentiment of the rest of the world in this entire thing. Since 5:30 a.m. right now. Had incredible meetings though with the Memphis coaches and the Navy offensive coordinator. Got to record a podcast too. I mean, we got nothing but time. Nice dinner for Hasselbeck's birthday. This is my fault. I might be sleeping in the truck. It never ends, dude. I honestly don't know how it happens. You have a room?
Yeah, it's a big room.
You have a good room? It's nice. Take care of the boys. You know what I mean? I'll sleep on the street out here. I'll go busking with a guitar like I'm the next fucking Elvis. You know what I mean? I'll earn my way. This does seem to always happen. These couches available? That's my pillow too. I'm gonna need it because I'm gonna be sleeping on a fucking bench. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and brush my teeth.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
No big deal. Just walking the streets of Memphis with my sack here and my pillow. Walking in Memphis with no room to sleep in tonight. Walking in Memphis. Right now I can fall asleep, but I fight. Walking in Memphis. Instagram models posing on stairs. Walking in Memphis. A couple methods right over there. My last hotel didn't have a room for me.
Baby, we have a room for you. Come on.
Hold up.
Do they set up a room for you here already? I found you, baby.
Hey.
I got you. I got you. I got you today.
I appreciate that. Today is hour 14.
Y'all take care of Patrick, all right?
Boys! Huh? King of the castle. Look, a view of the pool. All right, so now I gotta go to a production dinner and then record a podcast. Let's go ahead and do this. Just going, dude. I mean, honestly, today's tomorrow. Tomorrow was yesterday. You know, it just all kind of runs together. It's kind of a long walk. Are you kidding me, Foxy?
Yeah, it's a palace.
This is not too bad. We're going all night long. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. 51 minutes after the hour number 2 had started here on this Friday, May 29th. Just trying to be a dumb distraction for folks, but we are a live show, and every once in a while there's some things that we should talk about, and we don't. And to tell us about that, NASA Nick.
Earlier this week, we talked about the CDC warning folks that rodents may become emboldened with the lockdown and shutdown and quarantine.
And I have experienced that
You
with
have.
the raccoons that have been eating the Captain Crunch berries in large numbers off my back deck and living inside my chimney, and the chipmunks and squirrels. So what you said did in fact check out.
Turns out it's not just rodents. Apparently in Meerut Medical College in Delhi, India, a gang of monkeys attacked a laboratory assistant and escaped with a batch of coronavirus blood test samples. A gang of macaques. And one of the macaques was seen in a tree chewing on one of the coronavirus samples.
So you're telling me a macaques, okay, which is a breed of
Type of primate.
A zoo animal.
Yes.
For instance, well,
wild animal.
Wild animal,
Yes.
but for our story, orangutan took my job to announce a draft pick. No, an orangutan, a zoo animal, took my job to announce a draft pick whenever I retired alongside Robert Mathis, Joe Wright. So that was actually what I referenced in the draft to let the Colts know that, hey, I haven't forgot that you did that to me. Just a little heads up. But now, a macaques, which is a type of monkey, a breed of... And I've heard stories about these monkeys running wild on you, brother. I guess they will gang up.
They will rip your face off.
They will come in and take your stuff, too. There's stories in South Africa of a gang of monkeys going in through a window and hijacking everything they got and leaving. And what are the monkeys doing with pots and pans? Nobody knows. But now they figured out which one was the COVID-19 one. They take it. They chew on it. This is Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, it is.
They're growing stronger.
This is the end.
Wait until they find an armory.
Their balls are under their chin.
What was that?
Their balls are under their chin. It's so weird. It's a weird monkey.
That's what they do. They spit out their...
Zito, yeah, that's exactly what Zito said earlier.
They spit out their...
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Can't make out with macaques. No. Might get pregnant. We're back on the other side of the weekend. Have a great one. Okay? Dumbest show of all time. Friday, May 29th. I hope we were a distraction, I hope we were a good distraction. Try to enjoy the weekend. Let's hope that the world makes good decisions and we come back thing. We'll see you Monday and at 1. This has been the Pat McAfee Show.
Jay.
And everybody.
Yeah, minutes.
All right. YouTube, how's it going? Obviously, quite a Friday here. Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Was up all night, like much of the world, watching Minneapolis, Minnesota become a war zone. People very, very upset. For obvious reasons. I mean, a cop killed a guy, and the entire video is out there, and this happens on such a regular occasion at this point. It is just sad to see. Hope the guy ends up in jail. Hope the cops end up in jail. We're on that team. Strong team. All in favor, say that guy goes to jail. Say aye. So know that we were there. We try to be a distraction for 2 hours, and usually whenever we come in here, once we leave, I have no idea what we had talked about because I just start going. I believe in everything that I say, but I don't remember exactly what all we covered in the show. So whenever I go out there, I'll get a question like, hey, what part do you want clipped? What would you want to do this? And I'm like, what do we talk about? And it's like, are you serious? Yes, 100% serious. When I go out and punt a ball, usually didn't remember what happened until I come off. Yeah, I was able to execute it and then come out. It's just something that happens with my brain. But you asked me to remember something from 10 years ago. I'll pull that thing out like this. So it's just like at some point something happens where I'm doing something, I forget it, to do and remind us of everything we talked about. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an intern, which we don't normally do. Intern Mullet Mitts Minutes.
Come on, Mitt.
Let's go, Mitt.
Right.
Here we go, Mitt.
Thanks,
Mitt
man.
has had a rough week. We all very much understand. He's still hungover from his Memorial Day weekend.
Rough month.
He's 21 years old. We don't know how that's possible. He must have done some real damage to himself, but it feels like he is bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, sober Mitt today, and we can't wait to hear the minutes.
Yeah, feeling real good on this Feel Good Friday. There
we go.
Today, we decided to be the dumb idiots to distract you from the world for a couple hours.
Bingo.
That is
we
sad, Mitt. Well said.
opened up the show talking about sports returning, and NHL working towards finalizing their 24-team COVID Cup. We have a 5:40 a.m. kickoff, June 11th. Aussie Rules football coming back.
AFL! June 11th!
Go, Mitt!
Soccer is back in many countries. We got some Bundesliga bets coming up. Baseball is back in Korea. Basketball is not back yet anywhere. Elon,
we know that?
Good clarification.
CBA, I do
Is
not
Korea
believe.
basketball not?
I do not
that's a
believe the
good point.
CBA has come back. Chinese Basketball Association.
Okay, well, Elon Musk.
Korea and China, two different countries. Did you learn that in Boston whenever you were hanging out with the
I
Cook
don't
family?
believe there is a professional basketball league in Korea.
Wow.
In China,
Wow.
though, the
Wow.
CBA was the only other basketball league they're talking about.
Listen, I date a Korean. My fiance is a Korean lady.
There is a Korean basketball league.
Is it playing? And they do play basketball in Korea, by the way. So you should feel terrible.
I was unaware of that. I do feel terrible about it.
Wow, you're unaware of Sam being Korean?
No, unaware of Korea having a basketball league professionally.
How short-sighted of you.
What an idiot of you. That's the problem.
Well, here's the thing.
That's the problem.
Just like the NBA, I figured the Chinese Basketball Association was the big league over there. I figured.
Oh, so now we're burying the Korean basketball.
Well, absolutely
They're
not.
two different countries.
Yeah, two different countries, sure, but I mean, you don't hear much about the Mexico Basketball Association or the Canada Basketball Association.
This guy
What's
is
going
just
on?
digging himself.
How many errors can you round up in one vulgar sentence?
No
I'll tell you,
errors.
you just 7 or 8 somehow.
No errors. I'm just stating facts.
Your sister is
in fact Chinese. She is from Shanghai.
So that makes him think he can.
That right there was racist. Thank you, Zito.
I was answering my phone right now.
No, Zito, you are a terrible person.
Hey, what are you talking about?
My fiance and his sister not happy with what you just
Goodness
did.
gracious.
I'm actually part Chinese as well.
Oh, Zito. Jeez. Sorry, Mitt. Please get back to your minutes. By the way, great start. You're off to a hot start.
All right. We talked about Elon Musk trying to send a couple Americans into space the other day. Tone was backpedaling his words almost as fast
Pray
as
for
Dan
the
Orlovsky.
astronauts.
Ty Schmidt was not a fan of the Mickey Mouse operation put on by SpaceX.
Thank you.
We went through Shotgang.
I'm a NASA guy.
It's been making some legendary moves out there on the streets.
Just one.
That's an
one.
error.
Yeah, just
That's
one.
an error.
Whoa.
That is
one.
an error.
What
You
are you
have not
talking
made. He
about?
said moves.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
said
Moves.
How many aliens have we killed? How many aliens have we
One
killed?
move. Fuck.
We've killed.
Legendary.
Did you see
one
Carter
move.
fly into that
One
mountain?
move.
That was pretty legendary.
That was legendary.
One legendary heist, but legendary moves in general.
Oh,
True.
correct.
There it
Okay.
is. There it is.
Good explanation right there. But Foxy and I still think you're full of shit.
Yeah, that was a stretch.
But we're a democracy.
All right. Well, Connor came in, hit some drums a little bit, talked about looking into buying a Bengal cat.
I hate you.
I love you, Connor.
No, he hates everything. You heard what he said earlier about
that a handkerchief?
the Chinese basketball and Korean basketball.
It's my eraser. I didn't say anything bad about the leagues. I just thought they're not getting
just
enough
the
pub
countries.
then.
Yeah, just
Oh no!
Oh, the people from the country? Is that what you were saying?
I said they're not getting enough pub then.
Oh,
the
you're
people
saying
who
the
are
people
marketing,
from the country.
whoever's marketing the leagues better step it up.
Just unbelievable. You're somehow getting that Damian Lillard shovel and just digging yourself even deeper.
Oh no, not Dame Dollar.
All right. Well, we talked about the NFL Rules Committee meeting over Zoom to discuss some possible rule changes. We talked about Dr. Will Smith teaching many people about the consequences of brain injuries and how frequent they are in football.
Very good here, Mitt.
We talked about some NFL studies that were done, particularly on kickoffs and rule changes, onside kicks becoming completely impossible over the last 2 years, designated to return IR players, the number has been bumped up, taking false start penalties to help out your punter and also run down the clock. We talked about every NFL team trying to find loopholes, but the Patriots are the only ones that are.
Yes.
Did he say that
He
was
did
banned?
not say.
He just said.
No, I said we talked about it. I didn't put it. Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't say like, hey, there was no outcome of this. You weren't making any solid statements about what had happened.
Playing it
this day.
safe.
Yeah, you were. That's smart of you, by the way. That was very smart.
I was playing it.
That was
Say Friday.
What's that called? High level, I believe is what they call it. in
Next
the corporate
level?
world. No, they're saying.
Yeah,
I-
high level overview, generalization.
Oh, bird's eye
I get
view.
on these. No. Listen, these are conversations you will never fucking be a part of. So, like,
One of many.
I got like a lot of corporate people that I'm having conversations with. These suits, right? I have to have this conversation. They're like, from a high level standpoint, what we're thinking is, and they start drawing it down. And as they get halfway through their entire layout, I go, "Can we go back? you said high level. What is it? That means like executives are running this shit. They're like, no, it's a view from a high level looking down on it. We'll get into the intricacies of this later.
It's not granular.
Yeah,
Oh, nice, Nick.
Whatever it is.
We're not getting into the nitty gritty.
Connor, I want to let you know, you and I both are not supposed to be in those conversations, but I stopped those conversations to say, excuse me, what is that? Well, we'll circle back. We'll put a pin in it, all this corporate cliche bullshit. But yeah, I learned that the other day in a conversation. High level means from the sky. Let's look down
suits.
Goddamn fat cats.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we talked about
From a high level.
Yeah,
That
high
is-
level.
That is who you would blame, is
Yeah.
the people that are the greedy corporate fat cats. Exactly the thing. Once you dive deeper, there's probably others.
I'm a
but-
big high ground guy as well.
Yeah, well, that's smart, especially in the Shotgang, because it feels like you guys drown in the low ground.
All right. Well, after we discussed some NFL possible rule changes, Sam Martin joined the show. Talked about him recently moving to Florida, choosing punting for the Denver Broncos over the Detroit Lions for a more appealing contract and situation. I'm sorry, Foxy.
Yeah, see you later,
That's okay.
Detroit.
And the special team
Pro
Bowl
coach.
year for him, I assume.
Yeah, we talked the Broncos' young offense looking scary. Him being stoked to get to work with Tom McMahon. Playing
Your
most of
father.
last season with a hernia. Yeah, shout out to my dad. We talked working with
Big shout out to
golf
his dad.
pros, seeing 2 abs now,
That's pretty
and
cool. Oh, yeah. That's
and he's about an 85 to 90 golfer.
I always thought when you golf, you get fatter, but turns out, no.
Moving a little bit.
He's getting abs and stuff.
Yeah.
Push-ups from
Depends
his
on who you
putts.
are.
Kind of get a librarian ass whenever you golf, don't you? Just kind of
Oh yeah.
Depends.
like us, for instance. We do a lot of sitting, and that's tough.
Yeah.
It is tough.
Yeah, I got a back ass.
Look,
It
I'm
sucks.
doing the AC Slater on.
That's pretty cool.
You know what I mean? I'm doing the AC Slater, but this thing's about to fall off. But my back feels as if it's potentially just getting.
Oh yeah. Very tight.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough.
Oh man, look what we're going through to talk. Look what we're going through to talk in a microphone. Man, we kind of sound like entitled brats there, don't we?
A little bit.
Well, no, but if you sit in these chairs every day, you'd be saying the same damn things.
It's true. We got to get better chairs. Sorry, Mitt. Can you put that in the fucking
Ergonomicals.
Yeah, we'll put it in there.
Put it in there.
All right. Well, we need to get some better chairs. We went through
Bingo.
punters.
Look at that.
Nice.
Hey, that
Great
is how
work.
you ad lib the fucking minutes right there. Remix right there. Good work.
Yeah, we went through a punter's thought process when a catastrophic quarterback injury happens.
Bingo. Yeah.
It seems honestly awful. We talked
yeah?
about the difference
Does it?
between. We talked about the difference between cook, koch, and cock. They are all different. They can be
Don't forget.
And
by Zito. They can be messed up.
And
Coke was the last one. Yeah. It was a good run though by
Yep.
Good job, Mitt. Stick that, Mitt. That's the best one yet. You even had to adapt in there in the middle. That's not easy to do, Mitt. That's not easy to do. You got your caterpillar. You put your hard hat almost on. You were ready to go.
Yeah, I'm thinking on my feet.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh. I'll tell you what. You know who had the worst performance of that minutes?
Oh, I know.
You want to know who it was?
Yeah.
Connor, you want to know who it was? Do you have any answers to that? Who had the worst display during that fucking minute session we just had right there, Connor? What? Yeah, you. Yeah. No. 5 minutes after the hour. We'll be back in 55 minutes with legend AJ Hawk. This has been the Pat McAfee Show, Friday, May 29th.